episode number 114. Yeah, 114. We did it. Saw franchise part 3.
Part 3 featuring part 5 and 6.
Yes. Let's just make it confusing. Yes. What are you gonna do? This is cool though, man. I wish we could always do this. I wish. I mean, it's fun going on a weekly basis because we come out with 2-hour shows, bada bing, bada boom. You know what I mean?
Another great idea by me.
Yeah.
Like, I love how Brandon's framed in the video here. A, I don't have to see a lot of his face, and B, I could tell his disdain just from his eyes. There he is. That's better.
He's perfect. Beautiful. Don't touch
everybody
my-
else
I'll
is
turn
happy.
my camera upside down in a sec.
Yeah, we know he could do it. For no reason.
Yeah, don't. Please don't. Please. We don't need any. You know, we're in a good thing going here. We don't need any shit. Brandon's happy. His camera's lined up. Everybody's good. So.
Are you guys done choking? We stayed online here. I hear these two guys have been choking to death the last couple of days.
I just choked right before I came on here. This was my day. I worked. I got out of work at 4 o'clock. Instead of coming right home, first I had to go get medicine for the cat. Then I had to go get food for the wife and the daughter.
Cat's fucking healthy now.
Oh no, I have no.
It's been a year.
Did you steal a new cat?
There's 3 cats. At any time, anyone can get sick. You're aware of this. Now,
God.
Ginny, poor baby, has been really scratching one of her ears a lot the last 2 weeks. So enough is enough. A couple of days ago, her ear started going kind of flat. So my wife says, I guess that means something, that she's really in pain. I said, well, we can't have this. So we're going to have to go out.
Can't have that.
No. So I had to pick up it's just like a cleaning thing. You know what I mean? And it's crazy because now with COVID, this is what I got to do. I had to pull into the place. Get out of work, I go right to the place. I pull in. I have to call them when I get there, tell them who I am and what I want. And then they come outside, the thing, they got the mask on. I wear my mask in the car. They got a thing. I stick my card in the thing. I pay and I'm on my way. But nobody goes inside.
I wonder he's choking to death. Sounds
Right?
really dirty.
Yeah.
I pull this in. I pull this thing. I stick my card in here. Yeah.
So now I do this. I go get the cat thing taken care of. I get food for the wife and the daughter because they're home. My car's getting its brakes fixed, so I'm taking
Hey,
the
so are
wife's car.
we.
Really?
I got one car in the shop right now getting the fucking brakes done.
Same
How
thing.
about getting that tooth fixed?
Yeah, I should have been whole again.
Should have been gone.
I'm half the man I used to be.
Oh shit.
Today was supposed to be the premiere of the new fucking tooth.
The premiere. We're all at the red carpet.
I walk in. I got a mask on. I walk right into the place. She's like, "You didn't get my email?" I'm like, "You have my fucking phone number email. What are you emailing me for? Call me." Oh, they fucked up at the lab. We don't have that's not what she said. But they messed up at the lab. We had to send your case back. I'm like, "No tooth for me, no tooth for you." I'm like, I leave. It's like a 20-minute drive away because I'm going to a special.
Where's the fucking chiclet you promised us?
Yeah. Up your ass. You used it as a suppository earlier.
Yeah, but my ass is minty fresh, so.
His ass started choking. Fucking these two guys I'm dealing with over here.
Why?
So I'm sorry we interrupted you. So
No,
you
that's
got
good, though.
home with the fucking cat wipes, and
Okay,
what
now,
happened?
Wait a minute now. Hold on. Why did you say no tooth for me, no tooth for you? Were you gonna knock their teeth out because they stiffed you?
I meant no tooth for me, and then she replied, "No tooth for you."
Oh, okay. I thought you said that to her. No teeth, no tooth for me, no tooth for you.
No tooth for you, you motherfucker!
Knuckle sandwich.
And I ghost at her.
Nice. Okay, back to the Ginny thing. So I pick up the medicine. It's just to wash it out in case maybe there's wax in there or something. That's step one. So you get it. So I pick up the medicine. I have to go get food for the family because she couldn't go anywhere and they were outside working. Okay, now I got to pick up food. Now I got to pick up a rotisserie chicken for me because I basically live on it. So I'm like, okay, I got to go. Now I got 3 stops. Now I know what time we're recording. Okay, so now that gives me just enough time. I get home. I run upstairs. I change my clothes. I get on the treadmill for an hour because that's what I do now.
Wait, you knew when we were recording, but he still fitted a workout. This guy.
Damn straight. I have to. Yeah, I gotta go today, tomorrow, the next day, and the next day. 4 straight days, so I can take my birthday off, which is Sunday. So, and more about that. But anyway, so I go on the treadmill for an hour because it's a treadmill day because I took yesterday off. So this is the schedule. I don't fuck around with it. So now I'm on. I go on the damn thing for an hour. I get off. I go. I shower. I change. I have about 15 minutes to eat dinner before we're going to record here tonight. So I get my rotisserie chicken. I get my corn tortillas. I roll it.
Can't it just be chicken at this point? Do you have to keep calling it rotisserie?
Well, this is rotisserie. Yesterday it was chicken, and the day before it was regular chicken.
Every time he says rotisserie chicken, I figure he's on the treadmill naked with a rotisserie chicken right there. And he's just ready with it on him. The whole time he's telling me the story. That's what I'm thinking. And it's still based.
Which is worse, me saying rotisserie chicken, or somebody saying whelp, or fucking what's the other thing?
Whelp for sure.
Whelp is the worst.
Whelp your ass, you know. Right, whelp. So anyway, now I'm rushing. So I sit down. I got 15 minutes to eat my chicken. Okay, chicken. How's that? So I sit down. Eat my chicken. I put on TV. I'm doing just fine. And then all of a sudden, you know, the chicken, part of the chicken goes down the wrong pipe here.
You're not supposed to eat the bones.
I was going so bad hacking that Ginny got scared and fucking ran downstairs. It was a thing. And my wife said, "You better go in the backyard. You're fucking scaring."
You might die outside.
She didn't even attempt to give you a pat on the back.
She did. She pat me on the back. She did. She backed me 2 or 3 times, and they always bother me when this happens because it happens a lot to me, and they're always asking me questions like, "What's going on?" And I can't write. I'm like, did it help? I'm like, I don't know. That's how I have to answer. They're always asking me. Just give me 5 minutes. I'll work it out myself. That'll work. That's what happened. So I came here. You know, I worked it out. Had some water. My throat's a little sore. Brandon told me that he had a similar situation. He was trying to fucking overdose on 6 pills at once, and he fucked himself. You know?
True story.
So,
you see what I have to deal with? What I fucking have to deal with.
Jesus. Now we got to look at 2 ugly mugs tonight. Can you hold that up? Can you hold that up, Christian? Hold up. You could. Yeah, look at that. Two fucking mugs.
Oh, that's a good one.
Thank God no one watches the video. Fuck your joke.
Well, back to birthdays.
Good.
We got birthdays coming up, and we got things happening with them.
Mine is in. Mine's tomorrow, and I got to do a massive shout out. You know what, man? SC is the fucking man.
Yes,
Steven fucking Carpenter, man. I mean, he did something for Brandon's birthday.
He did.
He did something for my birthday. I know he's done something for Dave's because I had to do some legwork for him to get Dave's email. But this is we got the best fucking listeners. Specifically, we got the best one listener, SC.
We got tons of great listeners. Tons. I love them. I love them. I'm sorry. Don't continue.
He said he didn't want this to be a suck fest. So I'm trying to leave the balls a la carte almost. Like
a la carte.
I'll take the tip shaft, okay? Does that sound fair?
Yeah, that's fair. We'll share.
Dave wasn't listening, totally not listening.
At that point, yeah.
He was on his phone checking emails.
I wasn't on my I was trying to look at my birthday thing. No. I wanted to be prepared so when you finished I could say what I had to say.
About his birthday.
I can't believe that he gave me $300. I mean, it's just phenomenal. So I'm just
fuck you. I know what you're trying to do here. I don't even want to know the amount because if it's 30 cents more than he gave me, I'll cancel his Patreon. I'm just kidding.
Thank you. See, it was much appreciated. I told you already, but I wanted to do a shout out. I think it's well deserved. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Nice. It's great. And what I did for the first time ever, I logged into Facebook 2 days ago, and the thing came up, and I've seen people do this many times. They do the charity thing on Facebook on their birthday, and I said, what the hell, why not? It's not harming nobody. It's only helping. Why not? So I said, I'll do it, because they asked me to do it, so I did it. So I click a button, and it says something about, your charity, and of course, and it was cool because the one charity that's basically my go-to was the first one that came up. So I said, this is great.
AbandonedKitties.com.
What is it?
abandonedkitties.com.
No, St. Jude's. St. Jude's is the one thing that I give to because it's children. Don't make it bad.
Take a dead kid and make him better.
Oh.
Too soon?
Lord have mercy.
Christ have mercy.
So anyway, yes,
Sorry.
that too.
Then I went back to Catholicism.
St. Jude. St. Jude's, children's research for kids with cancer and whatnot. And, it's my...
I don't even know. Brandon, that was horrible now.
Oh, yeah. It's my go-to.
That's
it's
what
the
I mean.
one.
Hey, listen, I support St. Jude. I support all children cancer research hospitals.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, it's great. So I just started it to see what was going to happen. I didn't know if anyone was going to donate. I put a little in, you know what I mean? And the next thing you know, people started, somehow we created a thing and it says $200. Well, right now, where the heck am I? It says 145 is raised. Just like that.
No, I feel like a fucking asshole. I didn't do a fundraiser.
Buddy, I never planned that. It just happened. I logged into Facebook and it said, your birthday's coming. Would you like to do this? And I was like, okay, piece of cake. So why not? So I did it. I saw St. Jude's. I'm like, perfect. So then right away, Wazell was the first guy. He put some in there. Rob Mahoney, my old buddy, he put some in there. Then Eric Webster came in with a big donation. And then Stephen Carpenter, SC, came in with a big donation. And Philip Perron came in, and a girl that I don't even know, Melissa Croy-Allen, is a Facebook friend that is not involved with the podcast at all. So all of a sudden, I got 145.
Why mention her? I'm editing that part out.
Yeah.
Her name out.
Can you get half of her donation back and put it towards Patreon?
How do Brandon and I benefit from this?
Actually, it makes me look like more of a piece of shit since this is something that hit close to home in the last year, and I didn't even do a fundraiser. I'm donating to Dave. Christian, fuck you.
Hey, all right.
Yeah, I feel like a fucking dick now.
I'll
Why?
donate.
I'll
donate to Christian's tooth fund.
Did they invite you? See, did you get an invitation? Did you get a thing sent to you saying your birthday's coming? Would you like to do a fundraiser?
Absolutely, and I went delete. No, I hate bugging people with that shit.
So do I, but they don't even. Did you get asked? Like, I made sure that I didn't invite
your
anybody.
birthday's coming up. Would you like to? Like that's all it did, and I'm like, no, I don't want to. And I just hit do, and I didn't even think twice about it. I didn't realize it doesn't really bug anybody. It just sort of posts it.
It could.
Okay.
You could send invites, but I declined any. I just wanted to put it up there, and if anybody.
Uh-oh.
He
broke up. You froze up. You froze up, Dave, on this. So if anybody wanted to donate, what happened? Sorry.
No, I said so. If anybody wanted to donate, they would see it as a notification, and they would do it. So why the hell not? So I did it, and then big donations came in, a bunch of people. I was like, wow, look at this. So it was really cool. And like I said, SC is SC.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'll donate. I'll also donate to Christian. He's raising money for micro penis research.
There's a cure. I just know there is.
Keep pulling on it. Keep pulling on it.
The premiere of his tooth. I love that he said that. The premiere.
How do you make
Nice.
There's nothing coming out in Hollywood, but it's my fucking tooth.
Hold on a second. I'm gonna stay on. It's all good. We're not losing any video or audio or any of this stuff. I'm gonna go over here for 1 second, and then I'm gonna come back because I realized something the other day, and it had to do with something that I said, and it's podcast related. So I'm gonna go grab these things. But hold on, maybe I got something else I could say in the meantime. Saw 5 and 6.
You want to just throw those ratings out there real quick, and then we can get on to whatever else you want.
Oh, here's what I was going to say. Voicemails. The voicemail thing that we had for a long time, and it hasn't worked right in like 6 months. So I don't know if anybody, I had some people try to call, and I try to get the message. Nothing works. This, that. So they sent me a thing in Google, and they said, your voicemail is going to run out unless you, and I was like, fuck, good, let it run out. So there's no more voicemail. But I would like to say, if anybody wants to be heard on the show, just everybody's a patron. Everybody can send an audio message on Facebook. Real easy. Just freaking go to the Facebook Messenger and send it to one of us in the thing. Send it directly to me if you want, because I'm basically friends with everybody in the group page because I had to friend them to put them in the page.
La-di-da.
Right. Well, I had to do it. You guys weren't doing it. So I friended
Mr.
everybody to
Big
get him in
Shot.
So now if anybody
Holy.
wants to be heard, if anybody wants to be heard, that's all you gotta do. Just send me a message. Just go on the freaking Facebook Messenger, press the record button, say what you want, and we'll play it on the show. So that's the new voicemail. There you go. And Dale Strom, I wanted to shout something out with him because this happened. I'm gonna come correct here. I've had people since I've been involved in podcasting for years, listeners approach me and they say, "Hey, I started this. I'm doing a YouTube. I'm doing a podcast. Check it out." And I can tell you,
his YouTube is awesome.
So you have, so you're aware. Okay.
Oh yeah, he reached out to me behind the scenes and asked if I'd like to check them out before they went live.
Yeah, thanks for reaching out to
He was
thanks for
a big
reaching out
shot
to me.
now.
Thanks for
He was a
reaching
big
out to
shot
me.
now.
I just tried to be an asshole because I had to one up you before. But no, his YouTube rules. And I thought I told you that he did a Twilight Zone one because I knew it would be right up your alley. Maybe I fucked up. But I thought I told you he did.
Maybe I forgot. Either way, his channel is called The Big Chill Theater. And he sent me one that he did in a creep show. And it was really good. And I was like, I had to message him. And it took me like a few days because it was like 15 minutes. And I don't watch YouTube videos. I just don't have the time. I said I don't.
To watch 15 minutes. Like, I got 36 seconds for tomorrow.
That's
I
how
might be able to get 48
I
seconds.
gotta wolf down this rotisserie chicken.
This
Do you
is
eat
my
the knuckles?
life.
Do you eat the knuckles on the chicken?
Oh, stop. No.
Oh, come on. That's the best part.
Do you eat
No,
the beaks? Do you eat chicken beaks?
Not
No
the
beaks.
beaks, but you know when you're eating like a drumstick and they've got that little knuckle part on the top of the bone?
I don't eat the drumstick. I
Talking
know
about
what
the
you're
piece of
saying.
bone sticking out of the top?
Why get a rotisserie chicken if you're not eating the dark meat? You just eat the breast, don't you, you motherfucker?
Correct. I don't eat the dark meat.
The dark
I
meat's
feed the
not
dark
healthy.
meat to
Health
Ginny.
nuts.
I give it to Ginny.
Okay,
Actually.
that's fine.
I don't know what kind of chickens you have in Canada that are walking around with fucking knuckles. Our chickens
You're
are
still dragging your
knuckleless.
knuckles.
Yeah, fucking bunch of fucking. You're eating gibbons. Fucking big old knuckle draggers.
Yeah. At least your chickens are like hormone free. Like your chickens are like this big. Rotisserie fuckers.
That's why Dave chugged. He was eating a double D chicken breast.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I'm getting it all. Steroids, everything. Yes. So anyway, Big Chill Theater. That's Dale Strom's channel. And everybody, next show, I'm going to shout out everybody that's a patron that has a podcast or a YouTube channel. I didn't have enough time to do that, but I wanted to make sure I shouted out Dale because he reached out to me recently, and I wanted to put it out there. So
But
there you
it's
go.
great
But next
production value. It's well
is.
done. Like that's, and I'm particular with that shit too. And he does it well.
Very.
So
Right. And-
I agree.
'cause
I'll second that shout out.
Very good. Because I told him this. Literally, this is what I said. I said, I confess that I've been conditioned to expect the worst, mainly because of many years of listeners starting YouTubes. But honestly, this was a pleasant surprise. Well, I'm just shooting. I'm a straight shooter. It's true. This guy's muting himself. Anyway, people do this shit all the time. We can't hear a word you're saying. Not a word.
How the
See?
fuck did I mute myself?
I don't know. Maybe I psychically
Yeah.
willed it.
I did it.
Doesn't
You're
matter.
welcome.
You're
You're
gonna hear
welcome.
me on this one.
You're welcome.
Just on-
listeners.
Thank you.
It'll only be on the video. It will only be on the video.
I'm sorry.
On this one,
I
never
won't
hear
do
it.
it again. I just wanted to see his smug face.
Smug.
This is why 22 Shots hates you.
Everyone hates. Yeah, didn't even. I said to him, I said, "Do you have a YouTube channel?" He's like, "Nope. Don't worry about it."
Unbelievable. Hold on. Keep going. I'm just walking here for 3 feet.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Dave, yeah, just go in there. Stay in there for a little while. All right, let's get to Saw 5 real quick while he's gone.
Yeah.
Oh, check it out. I want to show you guys something really cool. Remember I told you about the 2 Funkos I got, right? The 2 Funkos are both from listeners, right?
I can remember.
Said you.
Hold on. It's been discussed, but I noticed something the other day. How cool is this? I don't want nothing to do with Funkos except the ones that I have, right? Now check it out. Look what it says. Look at the numbers. Look at the numbers on them.
Whoa!
Ain't that crazy? 6'11" and 6'12". 6'11" is Sackhead Jason. 6'12" is Black Phillip. It just so happens to be that those are the ones I have. Isn't that nuts?
Christian's like, I got 6'12". I got 6'12".
Feels like a bingo over here.
No, he's Black Phillip right there. Is 6'12". What are you looking at?
Oh, okay.
There you fucking
Jesus.
So what numbers are yours?
The same.
The same. You have the same too?
They're all 6'12".
How many Funkos do you have?
I have.
Except for the.
Here he goes.
Except for the. Sorry.
6'11". You have 1 and 26. Wow.
Jesus, Dave sounds like Yolanda Vega. The winning numbers are 6'11", 1, and 26.
361.
And the bonus ball is 361, making tonight's win for numbers.
Ooh, 23. Air Jordan.
Nobody cares about your Funkos.
Well, I care.
They're very nice. Send me some NECAs.
Yes. I just think
it's sending you shit.
6'12". They just happen to be the two I have. It's like meant to be. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. Pretty wild.
That is actually really cool.
Yeah, man. I was like, I just walked by him the other day. I said, wait a minute. What?
I only have one.
What? You have one Funko?
One Funko.
What is it?
Hannibal.
Oh, nice. You have a mask on at least?
Yeah. It's got the, yeah. I want Black Phillip too. I'm not a huge Funko guy, but I love the Hannibal one. I love Black Phillip. I got to get him. But I don't really collect them either.
No, they all look the
same. Really.
No, those are cool.
Thank you, Christine.
A Jason's cool. Yeah, thanks, Christine.
This guy.
I got the I got the 3 from Hell promo code. Can I exchange that for a Black Phillip Funko?
I love that. I love that you got that promo code and you hate that movie so much. It warms my heart. I love it. I love that movie.
I know you do.
Oh, absolutely.
I really like it. Really like it is what I should say. What do you mean absolutely?
Absolutely. We know you love it.
We know you have horrible taste in films.
Oh, whatever.
I think Rob Zombie just lost his I don't know, whatever he had. I think he lost it with his last 2 movies. I sadly.
Yeah.
Like his passion's gone or something. I just feel like, I don't know. I think maybe he had his heart broken. You know what I mean, by the studios a few times, and he just doesn't want to put as much into it as he once did. That's my theory on Rob Zombie. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't agree.
You don't think you could tell the difference between 3 from Hell and Devil's Rejects, like as a movie when you're watching it? I'm not here to diss it. I'm just saying.
No, I've rated it lower, but I don't consider it nearly as bad as how Brandon rates it. I still think it's a good movie. I still quite enjoy it. Like I rated it a 7 or 7.5, 7.5, somewhere around there. And Devil's Rejects, I think I had it like a 9.5, 10.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Just like his filmmaking style. I mean, even look at the 2 prior to 31 and 3 from Hell. Just look at like the production value and the just the cinematography, everything that happened in H2 and in Lords of Salem, and then take those 2 movies. I bet you could find somebody and say, here, watch H2 and watch Lords of Salem that knows nothing about Rob Zombie, and then show them 31 and 3 from Hell, and they won't even think it's the same director. That's just the way I feel. I don't think they're complete turds. That's all I'm saying. I just think there's a significant difference in a lot between those 2 movies, those 4 movies.
Well, okay. I mean,
you don't see it though.
No, I mean, what I think is I half agree with what your earlier statement was, that I think he got his heart broken from the studios, and these are independent, lower budget movies. But I still think his thumbprint is on them.
To a degree.
I still think you could tell it's a Rob Zombie film.
Too bad he had his thumb up his ass.
Because of his language. Mostly because of the language and the stars.
Yeah.
Right?
What? Huh?
What do you say? Wah, 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 wah. How about that? How about eventually there's going to be a thing like Whelp, but it's going to be wah, wah. But I'm surprised nobody writes that,
I have no idea what's going on.
I think they do write that.
Look at Christian.
Like the Wow Wow Blues. Wow, 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 wow.
You write that? How do you
no,
write?
I guess I don't. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Someone's gonna start doing it. How would
like
you? How
writing
would you,
out wah wah wah. Yeah, I
correct.
get it.
That's
Okay,
what
now I
I'm
get it.
I
Like
do write
writing.
out Waka Waka, which is,
Well,
I guess,
that-
one step closer.
That's okay. Waka waka, you could write. Wah wah wah. How would you write that? If you do WAA, it's gonna look like you're crying. You can't go wah wah wah. You know.
Wah wah wah. WHA wah wah and
That'd be like
WHAA.
a
Yeah, it's gonna look right. It's gonna look like what? You know? JJ what? Anyway.
Well, I think we just are done with this conversation right now.
I think we met our quota. For pre-game or for pre-review bullshit now.
Yes, happy early birthdays to both of you. Glad you guys got all these nice, awesome gifts.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Like you never got anything. You just talked about what Heather gave him. Steve gave him something. This fucking guy.
If I'm not
wants to give him all kinds of things.
If I'm not getting anything at this exact moment, I'm bitter. I want gifts all the time. Like every day is my birthday.
Someone give him a fucking haircut.
Do we have to start having unbirthday parties for you every show? Is that we're gonna go Alice in Wonderland style? The fucking Brandon's the Mad Hatter now. Very merry on birthday to you. You know.
That's exactly what I want.
Okay, next week I'm gonna have the hat and everything. The fucking Mad Hatter's hat. I'll sing to you. I'll dress like the fucking Mad Hatter. How's that?
Christian, have your tooth.
Yes.
I don't know. I have no clue when this fucking thing's coming in. This is like delayed like every Halloween. This is why I say premiere. It's delayed like Tenet. It's delayed like The Mask is what every movie that's come out this year. Mulan. Everything. Delayed.
Are you all right? Are you having a stroke?
Why? What happened?
Can you put words together?
What happened?
He's mad. I don't know. He's mad.
He's mad. He's losing his mind.
Well, I'll tell you what. If Halloween, he should be what?
Should be a gold tooth.
Oh, could you imagine that? Yeah, iced cappuccino. That'd be great. Gold tooth. Ding. That'd be sweet, you know. But I'm not. I tell you what. Halloween. Fuck them. That's right. Fuck Halloween Kills. I will only steal that movie. I'm going on record to say it.
Why?
I'll tell you why. Because they could have done a really nice thing and made money in the process. All they had to do was this October. Halloween falls on a Saturday. It's going to be a great thing. We got a full moon. We set the clocks back. It's a fucking a great night, right? Now, what they could do to make this, the world's been in the shitter for the past fucking year. So now, why not on Friday night, the October 30th, they don't have to spend any money for advertisements. Just drop Halloween Kills on fucking VOD for $20. Boom, just fucking drop it. You know how many people would run? They would flock to see a new Halloween with Jamie Lee Curtis in it. People would love it. They would make enough money on that Friday and that Saturday. That weekend alone, I think they would do just fucking fine. But no, those greedy fucking cocksuckers don't want to give us a little bit of a fucking present. They're going to hold it a whole other year. Another movie, I understand, Mulan or whatever the fuck, they're going to delay till 2021. I can understand that to a degree, but Halloween, it's a special thing. Why not fucking do something for the fans of the franchise and just fucking put it out now? That's all I'm saying. So because of that, I say fuck them. I'm not going to be like the rest of the people that are going to be there with fucking shit-eating grins and say, oh, thank you, fucking 2 years too late. I'm here to fucking suck Michael Myers' dick. No, I'm not doing it. I will fucking
I'll do it for you. I have no problem with it. I think they wanted to get people back in the theaters again. I don't see the big deal. And why would you be putting your clocks back a week early? Is it on the 31st today? It's always the week after now. It used to be the week before Halloween.
For this year, we got it all
on Halloween.
It's a Saturday. It's a fucking full moon, and it's the clock thing. It's a great Halloween.
And it's the clock thing.
Yeah,
Flavor Flav.
Because I've been clocking them. Yeah.
I gotta check your facts here. But I have nothing against him postponing it a year. I'm mad. I'm upset. I wanted to see it, but I'll just go see it a year later.
Fuck that shit. I don't like
I pulled my back muscle turning back my grandfather clock.
fact check me all you want. I'm just mad, and they're not getting my fucking money. That's all I'm gonna tell you. So if I don't see that movie in time to do the best of 2021 or whatever the fuck, sorry, I'm not doing it. I will steal that movie. That's
I'm
it.
with Dave. I'm not
Dave's
excited to see
right.
it anyway.
Dave
Of course
is right.
I'm right.
But it's a November 1st, so it doesn't really matter.
What do
'Cause
you
it
mean
happens-
it
it
doesn't
happens
matter?
on
That's
Sunday.
whoa.
It's 2 a.m. in the morning that it happens, so what does it
It
matter?
doesn't matter. That's Halloween night. That's when you get a good night's sleep. So you can party your ass off.
Yeah, you always turn it back before it hits midnight and before it hits 2 a.m. I always turn it back
doesn't
like
matter.
8 hours before anyway.
The bottom line is we get an hour of
America.
sleep.
Yeah,
The
that's
bottom
what
line is
matters.
we get an extra hour. You party all Halloween night, and then you get an extra hour to sleep on Halloween the day after. It's
I
great.
didn't eat candy with the COVID mask on.
Oh fuck.
You shove a Kit Kat up your ass.
Shit. Anyway, I know maybe I'm pretty angry about Halloween, but don't you think they would do just fine to release that movie on VOD on that week? They don't have to pay too much money for advertisements. Nothing. I mean, I don't know. I think
I
it
sure
would
I
be.
would say
As
they
the
just cancel
filmmakers,
it.
I'd like to see it in the theater.
They should just cancel the film.
Shut the fuck up.
2018
you know
was
what?
so
This is what
horrible.
I
to
got to
begin with.
deal with. Listeners out there, yeah, I might have some crazy taste.
Hey,
I might
isn't
have liked
Halloween
Black
like your
Christmas
12th favorite franchise anyway?
2019. I might have liked it, given it like a 6. A 6, not like a fucking 10 like these guys. But I'm the voice of reason here.
Yeah, you're the
You
voice of
have to
reason.
believe me.
Why?
Trust
McConaughey Texas
90%.
Chainsaw is his favorite film, and he's the voice of
90%
reason.
of the people are going to agree with me.
On what?
90%. About
On
the
what?
fact that they don't care. They would say, yes, it may have made money dropping on VOD. I'm not questioning that, but I have no problem waiting a year to see it in the theater. Brandon
That's
saying
fine.
cancel the movie, half joking, I know, but he's saying it. You're saying that. I've won this. Hook, line, and fucking sinker.
You
I've won
know
the
why you've won it? Because of fucking Halloween fanboys. Oh, Mike is the
But this is a
best.
Patriot group.
Mike is the best.
Patriot group's not Halloween fanboys. I think they're pretty open to say yay or nay.
Halloween fanboys are like Philadelphia sports fans. The worst.
Where are the
He-
filmmakers of escort service when we need them?
To each their own. I'm just saying, I don't want to be a fucking mark. I don't want to be smacked around by these fucking greedy cocksuckers and say,
Dave,
we
Dave.
could really give it to you now, but you know what? Fuck you. Wait a
Dave.
year. We're going to take your money next year. I'm gonna, you know? You
But
could
why?
blow-
Why? I mean, look. All seriousness, why for that film? I understand like the
Only for
timing and
that film.
Only for that film. Why not for something like Quiet Place 2 or Candyman? Because they could easily say, you know what? We could drop this film on Halloween.
Okay, I'm not happy about those things either, but
Yeah.
I'm not as angry as I am with Halloween because it's a fucking time-sensitive movie. Put it out on fucking Halloween. Give us people that have been in the shitter for a year a fucking nice gesture, and you're still gonna make money.
Yeah.
People will they'll be so happy to have that happen. Maybe they'll do it as a surprise.
hear
But if you made it as a film, you want it to be experienced in the theater. I can understand if it was, to be honest, I can understand Terrifier 2. These movies work sometimes better on a small screen. But like Halloween, I don't know. Like if I had the budget and it was my movie, I'd be like, yeah, no, I let's postpone it and put it in a theater. I want people to see it in the theater.
It's all about money.
I know.
Unfortunately, it is. I mean, Halloween's going to do amazing when it comes out next year in the theaters. It just is. Whereas you're right, a film like Terrifier, I mean, it'll probably do well in the theaters now, but you know, it'll make a few $1 million. It won't make $200 million like Halloween will.
Well, Terrifier is being set up to be coming out, like the guy appears on Halloween, right? So that's probably when they're dropping it, right in around there, and it'll probably make a killing on VOD. Hopefully it does. It looks great.
Yeah.
The trailer for Terrifier 2 looks amazing.
You think
I watched
Terrifier? You think that might drop this Halloween? You're saying?
Well, they have the trailer out. I'm assuming it's coming for Halloween.
Okay, maybe.
Yeah,
that'd be
I don't
cool.
know.
It would
that
be a
was-
smart move on their part.
Was it
with
never supposed to be
nothing else.
theatrical?
Come on, that's gonna be.
I can't
theatrical.
imagine.
Well, that's what I'm
I think
saying.
that would. Yeah, I think they'll
didn't
do VOD and then Netflix or something like that, right?
Netflix, yes.
And look what's happening now. Universal struck that deal. They're going to be putting out movies, freaking VOD within 3 weeks of the release. So it's kind of a win-win. I'll tell you what, I won't be going to the movies nearly as much. You know,
Well,
I'll pay the $20 for the VOD, and me and my wife and my daughter can stay right home. I can pause the movie when I want to pause it. I can eat what I want to eat. I can do whatever the fuck I want.
No rotisserie chicken during the movie.
that's what I love about the theater. You can't pause. So like I just sit there and watch the movie. Whereas when I'm at home, I do have the tendency of pausing to go take a piss, pause to go this. There, I'll sit in my fucking piss and vomit and puke.
All of it, huh?
Yeah.
No
Why not?
shame.
At that point, what? I got the whole row to myself at that point. You okay, Brandon?
Yeah.
It looked like you had like a little anxiety attack.
No, hot flesh.
Choking.
Fucking stifling here.
Stifling, huh?
Listening to this guy. Fucking Halloween fanboy, Matthew McConaughey, Texas Chainsaw fanboy, 3 from Hell fanboy. It's like, talk about something good.
Oh, sorry. I like horror films. I apologize.
What, do you like good horror films?
I like everything.
I like
Do
it.
you though?
Except for the craft.
JP.
Yeah.
No, actually, there's a lot of movies I don't like, but we'll get to them. And none of them are tonight, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that. Okay, that's good news.
You were supposed to hate this movie.
That motherfucker.
In all seriousness, just to wrap that up, I mean, I kind of came out and said it, but I kind of agree with Christian. I get why the big studio would want to hold off on a theatrical release like that. Personally, I don't care because I'm not as invested in it as other people are, but, you know, I would rather see, you know, Candyman or, what was the other one named? Quiet Place 2, you know, drop. Or a fucking Spiral. Yeah.
Well, Spiral and A Quiet Place 2 for sure. I actually have no interest to see the new Candyman.
I actually like the trailer. I like the trailer for it for some reason. I know a lot of people didn't. I watched. I was like, you know what? This looks interesting. I think it has promise. Don't know if it'll be good. Might be horrible, but it piqued my interest. But
I mean, I'll watch it. I just don't have any interest in. Like, if I saw that in theater, great. If I didn't, I'm losing sleep over it. But I'll see it only because I'll be able to see it for free in the theater.
Well, if you see it when we turn the clocks ahead, you will be losing sleep over it.
Fall back.
I know. That's why I'm saying. That's why I said when we turn the clocks ahead. I didn't say fall back. I meant this spring. I said
fall back, homie. Fall back.
Yeah, fall back, spring ahead. April has 30. April, June, and September. All the rest have 31 except for March.
The Mutilator 2. Fall back.
Oh, wow. That's a good one. Yeah.
We're going on a fall back.
Nice.
I just wanted to polish up Christian's joke. It was a good joke, but I had to make it laughable.
Laughable.
Laughable's right.
All right, can we do these fucking reviews? It's 9 o'clock already. We're supposed to be done by now.
Madon. All right. Let's do it.
All right.
Oh, and I want to let everybody know I took lots of notes.
Did you? I took so many fucking notes you won't believe it.
I took lots of notes.
I'm so happy.
For me, I took lots of notes. Maybe for you guys, I didn't take lots of notes. But for comparatively to 0 notes, I took lots of notes.
So you're actually participating tonight?
Aww. Look at you.
I feel bad for that joke. All right, Saw 5. Written by Patrick Melton and Marcus Dunstan. Directed by David Hackle? Following
Heckle's tail. Sorry.
Yeah. Following Jigsaw's grisly demise, Mark Hoffman is commended as a hero, but Agent Strom is suspicious and delves into Hoffman's past. Meanwhile, another group of people are put through a series of gruesome tests.
Okay. A group of people put through tests. We talked about Saw 2 when we talked about it. They did a similar thing here, and in this case, they did it right.
Yes. Agreed. Except I have some questions and some issues that don't take away from my enjoyment of the movie, because really these things never overall they don't really, but I just noticed them, and I think it's because I also watched, as I've kind of blurted on Facebook and whatnot. I've now watched most of these 3 times this year.
Where Dave and I are actually having a medal made for you at this moment.
Perfect. Why can't I toot my own horn, you fucking skunk?
Because I want to toot your horn. I'm just afraid I'll choke on it.
He's a fucking heel.
Okay. I am the heel tonight. I have a lot of jokes at your expense.
Yeah.
Sorry, just make it very easy.
No, that's fine. I dish it out. I got to take it, but just
I always said, and it's been a while since I revisited the franchise, but I always said that Part 5 felt like a filler, like it didn't progress the story. And with that said, it doesn't really progress the story forward because it's more about how Hoffman got involved. I mean, this even goes back to Hoffman before he meets John, let alone him working with John. So while I still maintain that it is a little bit of a filler in terms of not necessarily driving the story fully forward, man, I had a blast with it this time.
Yeah.
More so than I have in the past. This used to be always one of the weaker ones for me, and man, I'm gonna blow this one just as hard as I've been blowing the first 4, because I think it's
nice.
It's one of the quickest watches of the first 5.
I give that credit to 4, but this one, that's why I said I think I can pop on 4 and 5. Last episode I said that 4 and 5, and we'll get to 6 because it's just a boom, boom, and bam. I just think it's a great continuation of the story. They're fun, they're faster paced than 3. Again, not to shit on 3, just think I feel it's faster paced and they're fun movies and they're gory, but for whatever reason, even though I was shitting on how 3 dwells on the gore here works and it's still kind of fun. Even though it's
good, there's a few added CGI, squirts here and there that are kind of like, why did you do that? You didn't need that, but the gore does work otherwise. I mean, the opening trap, the pendulum trap for Seth, great trap.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh. And I love it because it plays out and you're like, what the fuck? The guy's just getting killed. And then I did what I was supposed to do. And you can see the eye looking through the thing, and then you're like, oh, it's so fucking good. And it's gory, but it's fun.
Yeah.
Here's what I want to know. I love that kill. It's one of the best kills in the franchise, honestly. It's great with the freaking the pendulum and the freaking getting cut up.
And how he lives for a while with it, even though it cuts him, and how Jigsaw later references that it's poorly put together and that the steel wasn't tempered.
Tempered steel, yeah, exactly. That's good.
Yeah, so like the guy was like Seth was still alive, and he's like gurgling and spitting blood before it fully cuts him in half. Really well done.
Now here's the deal. I'll wait. Let me say my first point. My first point is this about that kill. Why would he bother to make a tape to make it look like a fucking Jigsaw trap? This guy, at this point, no one knows who Jigsaw even is. This is very early in. No one even really knows.
I think you're supposed to know. I think there is Jigsaw. That's Eddie was doing.
There is.
He was doing a Roy copycat, which is why I've always jokingly said this Part 5 is like Friday the 13th Part 5, even though we've been introduced to Hoffman before. It's like he is Roy,
but why?
full-fledged.
But what I'm saying is
just to hide it within the realm of the Jigsaw.
Yeah, that's literally it.
So he's anticipating the tape getting fucking picked up.
I see what you're saying. Why go through the trouble? I think he probably left it there for like the tape being found as part of the evidence and everything else. And at the time, they wouldn't have noticed anything with the Jigsaw piece cut it out. And we find out later that it was cut with the.
It was cut out, you mean, not cut it out.
A scalpel. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, scalpel versus a jagged edge.
Serrated, yeah. No, for the victim. Why let the victim think that it's a fucking saw trap? Why not just go in there and fucking slice up the victim? And that's the end of it. Why do that? You know what I'm saying? Why go through the trouble of fucking saying, oh, you have a choice to make and this and that, and give him the fucking whole rigmarole for what reason if he's not going to let him out anyway? And why do that? You know what I'm saying?
You're right, because at the end of
But if Seth Baxter turns up dead, Hoffman would probably be a suspect. So hiding it under the guise of a Jigsaw trap. I mean, I agree with you, Dave. He's a cop. He could just kill the guy who brutally murdered his sister and make him disappear. No cop would even say anything.
But he's even saying, why hide behind a wall, put the tape out? Why not just kill him and then plant like a tape and whatever else afterwards?
I think he wants him to suffer. I mean, the games are brutal, so it makes sense.
No, and Brandon, I know what you're saying, and that's how I was thinking of it. I get what Dave is saying now, though.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you were getting it.
No.
That's my question, that's all. And another question pertaining to the same thing which happens later with Jigsaw, when Jigsaw says to him, and let me try to say, everybody deserves a chance. Killing is distasteful. You're at a crossroads, detective. Okay, this is what he says.
Killing is distasteful. Get off your high horse, John. All right, you're a fucking killer. I love Jigsaw. I love Tobin Bell in the series, but every time he gives one of these speeches where I despise murderers, get off your high horse. You're a murderer.
Killing is distasteful is a bad line too. Like it's not the best written line. It's almost like I hope they were going for comedy there.
Oh, I like it. No, really, I like it. He thinks it's distasteful. He thinks that what he's doing is on another level. What these people are doing are fucking, any asshole can murder somebody, because what he's doing, he's fucking an engineer. He's doing things the right way, and he's doing it for what morally he thinks are the right reasons. That fits in with his character for him to say distasteful. You guys don't see that?
I agree with you, Dave.
Brandon agrees with you.
I do.
I laugh out loud every time he says it.
It's some of the dialogue throughout the whole franchise. I always thought was a little cheesy and stuff, particularly in the tapes where it felt like repetitive. But this time, I'm finding it less silly and less cheesy than I used to. But I used to be there, Christian, in terms of, that's kind of cheesy, it's kind of, cringe or laughable. But now,
and I didn't even laugh. I went LOL, LOL.
I
wrote out wah. And I helped.
If someone can figure out a way. Nice. So back to distasteful. The point I was trying to make was this. He tells him that it's distasteful to be given credit for work that's not mine, especially inferior work.
Yeah.
And then he tells him the blade on the pendulum was inferior, and he explains why. But here's my question. How did Jigsaw know? So Jigsaw found out there was a crime scene and fucking, just for the hell of it, went to visit it? And nobody knew he was fucking there?
Yeah.
Right.
How did you know? You're right. That's a very valid point.
You know?
I don't think he questioned that. That's a Davism. That's how Dave's mind works. I never questioned that. That's very, very true. There's no way he would have known.
No, how would he? Even if a murder did happen, a Jigsaw murder was to happen, and the cops knew about it, obviously, how would he know? You know what I mean? Well, hey, this is Jigsaw.
He would know, because he's been following these cops the whole time, all of them. I mean, don't forget.
You think that he's Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm thinking about it. It really is a valid point, because I never thought about it. But don't forget, he's active at this point, so he's got eyes on Matthews,
back of his head.
Kerry, Rigg.
Yeah, so he's busy as fuck. So you're telling me every crime scene he's gonna be there? So a cat gets caught in a fucking tree, someone gets busted for fucking heroin. He doesn't know when he sees cops coming in what exactly you mean to tell me?
He does seem to know everything about everybody.
He does know a lot. I'll give him that. But anyway, it was just something that I noticed.
I believe he visited the crime scene. Yes.
That's fair. Okay.
Or maybe he read about it. Maybe
I can live with it. Maybe they read about it.
Yeah. Maybe they wrote about it.
And this pendulum killed a man. It was not made of tapered steel.
Tempered, you
fool. Tapered steel.
Tapered.
Tapered would have been worse.
You use tapered steel instead of
I got a real
tempered.
Distaste for your cock right now.
My microcock? But okay. I agree, Dave. That's an error. I think that's an error.
No, it's not an error. He's a genius engineer mastermind who's following these police officers. He's following them all.
I love the movie. This movie is the bastard child of this fucking film. Yeah. People shit on it, and I've always defended it.
So did I, and I still will. But it's funny that is a very valid point. 1 out of 10.
He knows everything about all the cops. He makes it a point of knowing everything about all the cops who are investigating him and trying to track him down in his hometown. Hoffman's one of the lead investigators on the case. He even gets an accommodation for being on the case since the very beginning. So, of course, Jigsaw knows about him and has eyes on him.
Okay, how did Jigsaw know Strom? When Strom shows up at the end of 3/4, okay, and he shoots fucking Jeff, and that whole thing goes on. Right now, think about the timeline here. This is fucking 3. Strom was just introduced to Hoffman earlier in this very film. right? Remember,
Yeah.
he comes on, this is Agent. Okay, so you can't say Hoffman told him. So how did Jigsaw, because it was a Jigsaw tape, how did he know that fucking Strom was going to start on the next journey? Because right after he killed the fucking Jeff, he goes up and he sees the thing hanging there, and it's a tape, and he says to him,
That's
"Hello,
100%.
Agent Strom.
That's
This is going to be your sanctuary or your grave."
That's 100% a Hoffman tape.
How can it be a Hoffman tape when he just met him a little bit ago, and you know what I'm saying? The timeline, I don't think it would match up. Remember, this thing was set. The plan for part 3 and part 4 was set into motion after part 2. We're in part 5 now, and this is the end of 4, beginning of 5. So he doesn't meet Strom until, remember, if you look at the movie, watch when the events take place.
No, he meets Strom at the Kerry trap.
And Carrie is killed at the beginning of 3, which is also the beginning of 4. So you think maybe.
But it's 6 months later for sure. Because
Yeah, exactly. It's 6
and
months
Hoffman
later.
knew. And how did Hoffman? Okay, then let's go further then. If not the mastermind Jigsaw, how did Hoffman know that Strom was going to show up, kill Jeff, and infiltrate and be there at that time to go on this journey?
Because, like it said in the
said-
movie, if you're good at anticipating the human mind, it leaves nothing to chance.
And Jigsaw but is Hoffman.
Yes.
Okay, if you're willing to accept that Hoffman's got that kind of mind,
yes.
that's okay. I'm just
Final
questioning.
answer. No, it's fine. And I when we started the series, I said hey, there's lunacy here too, but you go with it. Like the way that they construct it is great, but when you start picking it apart, there are going to be issues.
I think
There are
the
gonna be
fact
issues,
that, like you said, Christian, the fact that they went 6 months after Kerry to Matthews, that gives them enough time, both of them. So I could even pull back on saying it's definitely a Hoffman tape. Maybe it is a Jigsaw tape. Maybe in that 6 months period they had enough time to study
Sounded like
Strom.
a Jigsaw tape to me.
It could be. I'm not. I can't say I'm 100% committed to a Hoffman tape. I always thought it was because it felt like it just, the way it plays out. It's clearly,
I would have assumed it was a Hoffman tape too, only because I thought that he was the one setting up Strom.
Yeah, that's how I felt too. But given the time frame, they both have time to study him. And Hoffman, Strom, very much like Hoffman, very much like Amanda. I find that they're kind of predictable in a way. They all have an Achilles heel that they can't seem to let go of. Strom is very arrogant, just almost like he's very much like Matthews, just not willing to sit back. It's very much a Matthews type thing, where all
Which
he
is
really
great.
has to do.
That becomes his undoing because it makes him look like the prime suspect throughout.
Yeah,
which is great.
But these
Well,
are.
listen.
I mean, these are. I'm glad you're bringing up these points. I'm just.
There's a reason why. There's a reason I'm bringing this up. I know that I'm sounding like the curmudgeon, and I love the Saw series, so why is Dave doing that? The reason I'm doing that. The reason
I love it.
doing this. The thing is, a lot of people have come at me in the past, and with certain things about the Saw series, and usually I've been able to answer them. But when I'm watching the movie and I see something, I'm like not 100% sure.
Yeah.
I want people listening to be able to hear that, and I'm doing it for the benefit of the franchise, like
Absolutely.
to the listener. I want them to hear the things that even I'm questioning and say, okay, Brandon, you had an answer. That's fine. But these are things that I think
that's
if I'm
what we
questioning,
do. That's what we do. We should do it. I think that
I
makes for
love
better
the
reviews.
franchise.
Yeah.
I do, and I don't want to play favorites just because I happen to love the movie. That's what I'm saying. I'm going to call something out if I see it. But when I call it out, I'm hoping to get the answer. I'm hoping that, we're going to, even if I have a little thought in my head, I'm like, well, maybe I'm giving it a pass. Let's see if I put it out there, what they say. And if they say what I'm thinking.
I'm going to call out something in the next movie, which is one of my favorite Saws in part 6, that just really bothered me the first time I saw it. Still bothers me watching it this time, especially the way it plays out. It's a cool scene, but it just totally bothers me. It should have been better. But yeah, I mean, it makes perfect sense. But Hoffman, I mean, I think Hoffman's underrated. I could say that now. I was never a diehard Hoffman fan, but I'm definitely a bigger fan now because it's been a while since I revisited the franchise. So getting the backstory, remembering everything with the sister and stuff, why Seth's trap is unwinnable, makes sense. The fake test that he goes through when John kidnaps him, the hair trigger, that's not the real test, which is another thing I love in part 6. The ending of part 6, Hoffman in the reverse bear trap, and it flashing back to the tape playing in 4, and this is his actual test. Because Jigsaw knew where that test was going to take place, where Jill was going to put him on. I'm sorry I'm jumping to the other movie, but Jill knew, he knew that was going to be in the room where he could actually take the bear trap off if he did exactly what he did.
Well, we'll get to it.
100%. I'm not even.
You wanted him to escape, you're telling me?
It was his test.
We have another movie to get to. We haven't even got to this one yet.
It was his test.
All right.
You guys shit on me the other day for jumping ahead to a couple of movies.
Right. This is true.
Well, so Jill gets the box, which Brandon was talking about.
He's got the box.
Which we don't know what's in the box yet, but it contains the reverse bear trap in there.
Hey, spoiler! Next movie. We're not there yet.
No, it's the next scene.
It's the next movie. Either way, it makes me sad though. She gets the box in this movie.
No, the reverse bear trap is revealed.
That's what I said.
Oh, it revealed. I'm sorry. We said we don't know what's in the box right now.
Yeah, so don't be talking about the reverse bear trap. That's
sorry.
Next movie.
But I like the little tidbits of like Jigsaw's dead, but we see the publications of him being the mastermind. I think it was Time Magazine, the woman reading in the waiting room, realizing Jill Tuck is the girl in there. I love those little bits, and they sprinkle them into the series a bit. There's a couple of those that are great. Like it's in 6, he's on. They're doing like a newscast on him or an expose on Jigsaw as well, and the Williams watching it. But I love that shit.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
What about Strom? I mean, I know you guys don't like Strom. I kind of like him, and I love the water trap. I love that trap. I love the fact
the water trap. Here's the problem with the water trap.
They show everything.
No, I love that scene. Fantastic. But they show that he took his gun, his knife, his other thing on the counter. They didn't take the goddamn pen out of his pants.
No. Why would you take his pen? You would take his gun. They would take
it with his wallet. American Express.
Hey, listen. If I'm gonna let the pen slide in Silence of the Lambs, my favorite horror movie of all time, how the hell did he get the pen when he's tied up? Then I'm gonna let the pen slide, being just mishandled or misseen by Hoffman.
I only thought of it on the last view, but they specifically.
I never thought of that.
They specifically showed the wallet, the knife, the gun, all laid out on the table there, and he's sitting there. But I love how he escapes from it.
It's fantastic.
But I just wish they didn't like again. It's a nitpick, but it's such a great scene with it filling up with water and then just like spur of the moment. How am I going to get out of this? And bam!
Well, it's fantastic because it's unwinnable. I mean, Hoffman made it to end the games right here. This is supposed to wrap it up.
It's not even a game.
It's not
even a game.
I know, but
here's the problem. Wrap it up, why doesn't Hoffman just fucking kill him? Why even bother putting him in that thing? Why not just fucking take him back and put a fucking bullet in his brain? And that's the end. Oh, I know why. No. I know why. Because he wants it to appear like a jigsaw trap when the feds arrive.
Yeah.
I answered my own fucking.
Should he put a tape there too? Then did he? He didn't put a tape there for that one, did he?
No, I don't think so. Hold on though. But there was a tape earlier. The one I spoke of earlier to Agent Strom. Don't go on, or you're gonna basically it's gonna be your solace or your sanctuary or whatever he says. You know what I mean? So, what did he say? Something like this is gonna be your sanctuary or your grave. Pardon me.
Yeah, but no, it's perfect. It's perfect. He supposed to end tie it all up nicely here and end it. The look on his face when they say we have a live one is awesome. Yeah. The look on Strom's face after he brings Corbett out. And it's, at that point, I'm a Strom fan. I like him. He's a survivor. He's a survivor, man. He's a fighter.
I'm glad he survived that particular thing because fuck that cube. You know how I am with drowning and shit. Every time I see that fucking scene, I'm like, oh, man, I hope this is not how I go. What a fucking terrible thing to happen. You know what I mean? You know what I think about? I think about Creepshow when Ted Danson's in that fucking thing.
Well, Strom said he could hold his breath for a really long time.
Nice.
They should have put that in as an Easter egg. That would have been great.
Right?
I could hold my breath for a very long time.
I'll tell you what, though, it does make me sad when I really do feel for John Kramer and for Jill Tuck when they show the scene when she does get the box and you see the video and he's talking to her and he's like, whatever he says, you were my heart and you always will be, whatever he said, and you could see that she's upset about it. Just the whole thing is sad to see what happened to this guy and how excited and. I know we get other flashes in other movies. I think it's in 6 when Gideon's on the way and taking the... Just when you see their relationship and you see how genuine it once was and everything going on there.
Yeah,
man,
the relationship...
It makes me sad.
Yeah, I never questioned it. I always found it very believable, and it makes sense how it sort of, ends after that. I mean, the death of a child often does end relationships, so it's very believable and very, very well done and well crafted. And not overly, it's not too much. They give you just enough. They give you just enough, I think.
It doesn't go into the melodrama realm.
Yeah, they focus enough on the games. And the 5-person game in this one, I love this one. It's really grown on me.
It's great. It's funny. I wrote, I love how Billy opens it up with the new game players. Hello and welcome. I thought that was hilarious. Hello and welcome.
He says that?
Yeah.
Well, don't forget.
Hello and welcome.
This is a Hoffman trap. Don't forget. I mean, he's got the model in his area. He set this up. In fact, you see a flashback scene where Hoffman is getting the envelope from Jigsaw in part 3, and then this is where he walks through the back door. Now he's walking through the back. Yeah. He's walking through the back door as Lynn's coming in. So there's one issue I have with this point, but it unless he's going right to game 4, part 4 game right now, the timeline doesn't match up. He has to be walking and going to get ready for part 4, because it runs concurrently from the minute Lynn shows up, and you hear Amanda pulling Lynn in, and he's in the back hallway. So he has to be going to sit down next to Matthews and
pulling Lynn in.
Yeah, rolling Lynn in in the wheelchair.
Rolling it in for the part 3, at the beginning of part 3.
What would you rather do, pull linen or pick cotton?
Pull linen.
That's what I said, pulling linen. Sorry.
I didn't get what you're going at. That's awesome. But yeah, that opening up with those it was... Wait, now I'm getting confused which one. The first room was the... The first room is the one where they have to...
The decapitation, the keys in the glass box.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which they could all have survived. That's
the whole... They could all have survived. They could all have survived that.
But there is... I want to know if this is a mistake. And I don't mean to jump to the next room right yet, but it's in the description of when the tape plays for the next room. He says... because it's the 3 points of safety or something like that. He says, which one of you will be the odd man out? Yeah. Well, if all 5 could survive, he wouldn't have known there was an odd person out. How did he know who made it through to the next room unless it was live?
No.
What do you mean?
I noticed that a little.
It wasn't live. Again, the whole motto of this movie is anticipating human behavior and predicting it so that nothing is left to chance. These guys have predicted human behavior. They're even told at the beginning of the first trap, whatever their instincts are, go against it. And they don't, because they know them so well. They know that they're going to kill somebody in each room. They know it. Even if one key from that glass box opened all 5, which it does, even if it didn't, they still could have all saved themselves by getting their keys if they said, you go first, unlock it, and then start breaking the other glasses.
I'm not questioning that. So you're saying that they're being so arrogant in the way that this is described that even when they recorded the pre-recorded tape, they knew that there's only that one person was going to die. There's going to... Okay.
100%.
I believe that, and I'll tell you why. Because the way it starts with the 5 of them, and they all have a thing, one of them sons of bitches is going to make the wrong move and run. You know what I mean? But if you could take any 5 people in the world, and you know what I mean? Somebody's going to blow it in that first one. You want them not to, but I hear you though. That wasn't even necessary to say. I thought that too. See, I thought the exact same thing because there's 4 of them. But this is what doesn't make any sense. But then again, he's planting the seed in their head. Ultimately, there was room for all of them to fit in those things. So there really would be no odd man out. But I guess I could see
So that's
him
what they're
saying
saying. They're preempting. I guess they're doing behavioral economics, if you will, and they're making it sound like someone can't survive this, and really they can all survive.
They're making it stressful. They want them. They're putting them on edge, and saying, "Hey, if they think they're in a situation like this, just the power of suggestion is enough with people like this." And I think
And
that's
it
what
works because they all freaked out. That guy could have just dove in after one of the other people. They all could have been safe. 4 people could have gone to the next room.
Correct.
I love that. That's what I love about this game is that it was set up to do that. But because they're so pig-headed, and as Brandon already illustrated, and I agree, Brandon, just something I pointed out as well, but that it's human nature. And so that is kind of the cool part. And these are all despicable people, but I just have to mention that Julie Benz is fucking smoking hot.
Rita Morgan?
No, Julie Benz. Is that what her name is in the
Dexter?
Yeah, she's from Dexter. She's from Rambo 4. She's,
Boondock Saints 2.
Oh, I didn't know that, but
I don't know why.
Gorgeous.
Yeah,
she's the girl that makes it to the end. Yeah.
Yeah, she's nice looking. I'm a big fan of Megan Good as well.
Megan Good. Yeah, she's
great. But I'm still a Jill Tuck guy at the end of the day. Honestly,
I'd like to open. I think I have the key to open Jill Tuck's box.
Indeed. Jill.
Wah, wah.
She's a cougar, man. I'll tell you. What the hell will we think? Here's a question: why did Perez whisper Hoffman's name? Remember, Strahm makes that big fucking deal. She whispered your name. Why would she say that? You want to tell me?
Yeah.
You know?
Because she was suspicious of Hoffman in Part 4, and this is one of my major issues in Part 6. She was
in Part 4? There's no reason to be suspicious of him.
She was suspicious of Hoffman, while Strahm was suspicious of Rigg.
I always thought she looked suspicious.
No, she was always suspicious of Hoffman.
Always. So I don't Part 6 gripe because I feel like it just
the Part 6 gripe is not being prepared for the reveal of the voice analysis, even though they knew it was him. Because
but they didn't know because they didn't do the tape thing yet. They just had their feelings.
They had to. They knew it was him.
Oh, that scene is so fucking beautiful.
It's great.
It's a great scene, but it's poorly crafted because they knew Strahm was dead. So
I agree. We'll get to that because there's a lot to say about this.
It's such a major mistake.
And maybe not. We'll get to that.
But it was really good that they disappeared Perez in this one.
Yeah, that's cool.
I like that. I wish it was Strahm's idea instead of Ericsson's. I feel like Ericsson's just sort of like a stereotypical big FBI guy. Just he's very clumsy the way he's portrayed.
Who's clumsy?
Ericsson.
Oh, I don't think he's clumsy.
I think he's clumsy. He's very quick to go back and forth. That's why I like Perez being suspicious of Hoffman, because she even mentions, obviously in Part 6, how, I've been partners with him for 5 years. So I don't really feel like she ever questioned Strahm, even though she's kind of telling Hoffman, like, yeah, it's Strahm. She's kind of going along with it, but I think she still suspects Hoffman the minute she's being introduced. But Ericsson, on the other hand, is like, he's kind of made to look like the buffoon. And I'm not saying in Part 5 it's fine because the evidence is planted, even though it's kind of obvious, like with a mastermind like Strahm, being the apprentice, leave his cell phone and stuff lying around. Maybe not. But either way, it's a cool way to set up the next one. But I felt like in 6, it's just like, you have the evidence. Why is it playing out this way?
We'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Pee-wee. Come on, Pee-wee.
Don't provoke it, asshole.
Fucking Pee-wee. That was great.
Pee-wee is going to go to the ranks of Gordon and Muffin, I think.
I'm Pee-weeing myself. If you guys talk shit about Saw 5 one more time, I'm going to Pee-wee myself right out of here. And that means I'm going to masturbate in a theater.
But here's my problem from a filmmaking standpoint. When they get to the cool stuff of Strahm really diving into the investigation, which is now, and they do a lot of that flashback stuff, that's for us, the viewer. But most of the stuff that he's remembering, I think they're trying to put the FBI spin on it to seem like he's envisioning it or kind of playing out what happened in his head. But it's kind of confused storytelling because it's straight up Hoffman memories, straight up Hoffman activities that there's no way Strom could envision this. But they're doing the flashback and they're cutting back to Strom going, yeah, so I'm on to you or whatever like that. And there's certain things that work, but there's a lot more flashback that doesn't.
It's not Hoffman's memory. It's Strom putting himself in Hoffman's shoes and playing out scenarios.
You articulated that way better than what I was saying. That's how they're trying to present it. But what they're showing us is total Hoffman memory, and there's no way he could put himself in his shoes to remember all of this, the detail that we're seeing, or even to the degree of the detail that we're seeing. So I think they're taking major liberties from a story structure. I know what they're trying to do, which is what you just said, but I feel like it's a massive leap to give us more of the backstory, which is great, but I just wish they did it somehow a little bit more
tough. That's the clumsiest part of this. That mixed in with the external monologue. I mean, it's that's cheesy. It's just, oh, you were supposed to be the hero.
That was obvious. That pissed me off. That
you don't need to speak out loud. Don't think out loud.
Unnecessary. We already. Huh?
That was Freddy and Freddy versus Jason. That was we're not that dumb of an audience.
Yeah.
We know. Oh, I'm not strong yet. Shut up, Freddy. Just let the movie play out.
Yeah,
exactly. We didn't need it's very. I wholeheartedly agree.
But we knew it much earlier. As soon as we got a live one here, and there he is. And then Hoffman walks out with the girl, and then he goes to the hospital and he sees Perez, and he goes, everybody got out, or nobody got out except you, or whatever the fuck they said. Right then and there, that's all we need to know. We don't need him to say fucking 20 minutes later something that it acts like it's a reveal, but it's not a reveal. As soon as he comes out with the fucking thing, the viewer knows. With the girl.
Maybe a reveal to him. Again, maybe it's...
I guess.
Well, that's what it is.
You're supposed to be the hero.
Yeah, but he knew it in the hospital when he mentioned it to him. Remember? With Perez, he said it. Those were his words. He was saying something about
got out with a couple of scratches.
No, Perez is dead. Perez has disappeared at this point. He claims she's dead at this point, so Hoffman doesn't know she's still alive. But yeah, he's playing it off. How'd you end up with a few scratches? Perez said your name was the last thing she said. So there's no need in these later scenes. It's just I don't know how you craft those scenes. It would just look weird with flashbacks.
Wait a minute.
And him in just inquisitive faces.
Why did she have last words if she's not really fucking dead?
Well, that was Ericsson's idea to make her disappear because they knew somebody was.
You're missing the point. Listen to me. If Ericsson wants to make her disappear, do you think he told, hey, what's your name? Hey, Perez, make sure you say Hoffman to Strom before we take you out of the room. You know what I mean?
Those were her last words, meaning
she didn't die. What do you mean last words?
Those were her last words, and she's taken out of the room, and it's Ericsson's idea to say, she passed away. Maybe because he's still suspicious of Strom and Hoffman. Maybe he doesn't know what the hell's going on.
Well, he doesn't know. That's exactly why he did it. He verbalizes that.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't know what was happening at the time.
For her protection,
Strom knows though.
Strom doesn't have to necessarily know that Perez is still alive.
What do you think happened?
He doesn't know. Ericsson straight out says it in part 6 that he kept it from both of them because he didn't know what the fuck was going on.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, Christian. He does say that in 6. Yeah, so they didn't know. So Hoffman and Strom both think Perez is dead.
Well, maybe she said Hoffman just so.
She said Hoffman, then they take her to surgery, and then Ericsson says, oh, she passed away.
He cut it out, but he says, who do you think is hotter? And she went, Hoffman. And then they took it out. That's why he's so fucking bitter. You were supposed to be the hero.
No, I can see why she would do that. If she knew she's going to be taken away and hidden, if her and Ericsson previously discussed it, she would probably say that just to get the ball rolling with Strom. You know what I mean?
I think she's literally saying it because she's convinced it's Hoffman at this point, and
I understand that, but I'm saying she is saying that to Strom so that when she's put away in hiding, Strom starts taking a serious investigation.
Absolutely. She's saying, get Hoffman. He's the one who did this to me. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So it wasn't intense. How about we?
I don't know why Brent's doing that. I'm fucking it all up now. Everybody's got a hole in the throat in my movie.
No, but it makes sense though, because I mean, Jigsaw, it wasn't one to put, exploding Billy puppets around. So, it makes sense. Her suspicions, exploding Billies.
Exploding Billies.
That's the name of my band, the Exploding Billies.
And we hear what they say this time. How about that? When it happened in Saw 4, in Saw 4, we can't hear what they whispered. But for some reason, they show the same scene in this one, right? And this time, what they whisper is clear as Isabel. It says, "Open the door." Isn't that weird? Why would they take that out of part 4? It doesn't mean anything.
I don't
Weird.
know.
It's just something I noticed. Open the door is what it says. But they don't show it in part 4. She just gets fucking, shot all over her face. There she goes.
What?
I did write that "killing is distasteful" line again in the flashbacks because I thought it was funny. I do like they also put in the flashbacks Hoffman warning Jigsaw of Detective Tapp.
Yeah.
Yes. Awesome.
Yeah, and then Jigsaw giving him the pen light to lead him to Gordon. It's setting up part 2.
A healer who needs some healing, he says to him.
Yeah, great stuff. Great. Great stuff capturing Paul, the razor wire guy. Shows the struggle. Makes sense because in part 1 you'd be like, oh, how does a solo cancer patient capture this big huge guy, or how does a sick cancer patient and a 107-pound girl capture it? Now it's it's retconning everything. It's really brilliantly done. It doesn't feel forced at this point.
It doesn't. And when they're prepping part 2, they put in a perfectly amazing line that sums up a lot of the questions that I had, or a lot of people would have. You assume that this is going to play out the way you wanted. I assume nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's brilliant because it's exactly it. Like, how the fuck do they know this is going to happen? I had these same problems last episode. We were talking about it in part 3. How do they know this person's going to walk up to this door, use this key there, whatever? They don't know. They're predicting, like Brandon already went on a beautiful, beautiful rant earlier on about predicting human behavior or knowing when it's happening.
Yeah, leaving nothing to chance.
This line says, but I don't know how it's going to play out.
Yeah.
I don't know, but...
And let's not forget that Jigsaw, even though, he is technically a murderer. Let's just come out and say that. He is willing, if these people win the test, to let them walk away. What Strahm is doing is putting people in unwinnable games. He can't let these people walk away. I mean, even when he's testing Hoffman, did I say Strahm?
Right. Yeah.
Hoffman, sorry. But even when he's fighting with Strahm at the end of this one, is he going to let Strahm live if Strahm got in the glass case?
Well, he knows about it. Right, but he knows that that's not going to happen because Jigsaw.
But he gave him his opportunity. So what if Strahm did learn to trust Hoffman and gets in the case? He's still going to have to kill him, or else part 6 is going to look completely different. He's corrupt at this point.
Oh,
true.
I had a question. I think I answered it myself, but you guys let me know. No, I think that sounded weird, but I just saying. I think it gets answered in part 6. The scene with Jill Tuck outing Strahm. Is that just to get them off Hoffman's case? She goes right to Erickson and says, I've been followed and I've been bugged. And she's pretty much saying Strahm is the copycat or the other Jigsaw. That's how I took it. And essentially, is she just trying to get them off Hoffman so she can deal with them as per John's will? We don't know it's John's will yet because that's the big reveal, one part of the big reveal in part 6. But why does she go to Erickson and say Strahm has been chasing me or all over me?
Because he has been. Because he is.
Yeah.
She's tired of it.
Yeah,
but he hasn't been.
What, are you kidding me? He keeps fucking bringing her in when she's. Remember what he said in part 4?
Yeah.
Remember, she goes, I spoken about this 100 times. What else do you? And you saw how aggressive he was with her.
But legitimately, she's going after him like she's being followed. That he's stalking her. That he's Jigsaw.
I understand what you're saying, Christian. I thought about this. I thought about this, and my thought is maybe Hoffman was following her.
Okay, and she just mixed it up, or again, at this point, she's got the box.
Yeah,
she knows
I know
that Hoffman is number 6, right? And whatever, and again, it gets revealed later. But so I didn't know if it was to throw them off, but then I'm like, that seems kind of weird. But they are working together Because in 6, they're like, after we do this, your history or whatever, like he wants separation. So I thought maybe that was it to make Strom the target.
I think it
You're
could be
probably
either,
right.
but I think it could be either.
Why?
Why?
Because Jigsaw set up that trap. Jigsaw built that fucking Kaufman. Remember we were talking about it earlier?
Yeah.
With probably intent for Strom to be in it. That's probably so. I mean, they're all on the same page there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you could be right. It could be her, like you said, playing it out, or it could be Hoffman trying to fuck with Jill.
And we know that he's been fucking with Amanda and everybody else.
Yeah.
So it's not a far cry. It's just I thought it was weird when I watched it. When I rewatched it, I still thought it was weird, but I'd already watched 6 at that point. So I'm like, I think that's what they were trying to like. I think they were trying to throw him off the case of suspecting Hoffman at all.
Yeah.
But just thought I'd bring it up.
Maybe. Yeah, you might be right. I never even thought about it. You know what I thought was really, really cool? Finally seeing all the victims in order. And we were wrong. Cecil is dead. He's considered the first victim. I wrote them down in order. When what's his name? When Strom goes and he opens that the information about Hoffman and we see them. This is what's weird now. First of all, I don't think they would show a slit throat in the newspaper the way they do. That fucking gross. And it was the paper. I made sure it was before I made the statement. It wasn't just the FBI files. It was literally the fucking.
At least it wasn't a mugshot of Jason wearing his hockey mask.
They're sitting on the toilet. Yeah. In the fucking shower. Right. This is true. But then, so I wrote it down. This is the order. First victim, Cecil Fletcher. He's considered the first Jigsaw victim. Then.
I thought it was Cecil DeMille.
Yeah, him too. Cecil Fletcher, Mark Wilson, and then Seth Baxter. So Seth Baxter is only a copycat of one known person because nobody knows about Cecil at the time. They find him later, of course. You know what I mean? They didn't find some guy in fucking razor wire. What's this? They probably tied it to Jigsaw later.
Then that's a narrative error because he was trying to make it look like a Jigsaw murder.
Well, Mark Wilson. So I'm going to guess that Mark Wilson is the guy that burned himself. Because remember the first two.
That's Mark. That's Mark.
I thought you were talking about the pendulum dude.
Baxter's number 3. But what I'm saying is Hoffman is really only going the extra mile for one confirmed kill. I'm saying at the time. I don't think Cecil counts. You know what I'm saying? Because
but then if the guy was burnt, then have there been any reveals of traps? Has Amanda been in a trap yet? Has she survived?
It's only been no.
Did she survive though? That's the thing. On. You're talking about who died.
I'm gonna give. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
She's on the list. This is the order: Cecil Fletcher, Mark Wilson, Seth Baxter, then Paul Leahy, who is what's his name? The guy in the razor wires, Paul.
Yeah.
Okay. The next two, Amanda Young and Donnie Greco. Okay. I'm gonna guess Donnie Greco is question mark guy.
Or Donnie Wahlberg.
Or him. Then the next 3 guys are Adam, Gordon, and Zepp.
Come here, Gordon.
Yeah, that's a narrative error. Because there'd be, like, that's just for us, the Saw fans, to absorb and like, but when you actually put it into the actual timeline.
Why can't Cecil have been found?
Well, I don't think, would he be considered a Jigsaw? At that time, when Seth Baxter gets killed by Hoffman, there's no tape for Cecil.
Cecil might have been found, but they definitely didn't find a soul.
I don't have a fucking soul, man. I'm a soul man.
So retroactively, yes, they're gonna discover that Cecil is Jigsaw's real first victim. I could see that coming out in the wash. But at the time, you're just going to find this dead guy. There is no fucking Jigsaw.
He's doing laundry.
You know what I mean? There is no fucking Jigsaw at that time. The only thing they know about this Jigsaw cat is Mark Wilson. You know what I mean? Is the guy with the lighter.
So we got to take a little bit of liberties there. That could have been a narrative error. Jason Smith is probably shitting in his pants right now. God, no! There was this, that, and whatever. But he's not on the show.
I'm with Jason, though. I'm still not seeing an issue. I think one kill disguised in this way and somebody put to a test. I mean, they have the details of the
That's fine.
The numbers on the wall, the safety number, the safe deposit, the safe deposit, the safe code. What the fuck I can't talk.
Whatever it is, Roy G. Biv. Yeah.
The safe code.
The safe code.
The safe code.
Like no tooth.
What's the safe word?
No, the numbers to crack the safe, so they know it's a game. So he's just it's disguising it as a game. Maybe it is only the second kill and he's hiding it, but maybe because it's high profile enough, given the brutality of it.
I just thought it was cool that we had all the names in their order.
Yeah, no, I like that scene. I didn't attempt to write them down. I'm glad you wrote them down.
I paused it. I gotta see. Yeah.
Yeah, I tried to look real quick. I'm like, no.
Because I wanted to make sure I knew everybody's name and were there extra ones thrown in and who they are. But I believe we know exactly who everybody is. So,
you know what'd be cool is if in part 4, when Hoffman stands up, he's holding the envelope that he's given for game 5, for the game in part 5. Because I'm telling you, with that scene in the back hallway, he did not have much time to go prepare. He had to go somewhere, take his suit off, and get into that chair. Yeah. That's the only issue I have, but I still
again back to the first episode we started talking about Saw. I said this series is batshit crazy, and it's lunacy at an all-time high. There's timing issues, but it still works as a series.
There's still enough time though where I'm like, okay, there is time for this because 3's game plays out a lot longer than 4's. Because 4 is what, 90 minutes? 90 minutes on the clock?
I think
3,
so, yeah.
3 is much longer. I mean, even the brain surgery alone probably took her an hour. And so don't forget the scope. So he has time to go into that back hallway, have all the information for the five people responsible for the building fire for part 5, and still get over to part 4's game in time, which is in the same building anyway.
That building, the whole thing, the game here is great. We've already said it's great. And it gets right back to it now. But where I'm going with it is, I think this is why you think, and you thought this was more of a filler movie or a bridge movie, because it's trying to tie the storyline, continue that storyline, and they need obviously the Saw-isms, if you will. They need a game in there. So we keep coming back to this game, but it's not quite as tied to the main narrative as the other movies.
Well, I don't know. See, here's what we had, and this is what I love about it. This is what's happening.
Other than okay. Sorry, go, Dave.
No, it's okay. This is what's happening this week, and I have mentioned this in prior ones before. I think part 3 I said it. I love the back and forth, and in this one, this is the back and forth. You have the past with the teaching of Hoffman, the teaching of Amanda, setting up Saw 2. You have all the flashback stuff. That's the one part. Then you have 2 presents. As in 2 different things happening in the present. You have the game and you have the investigation. So you have the investigation of what's happening here. You have the game with the players in it, and then you have the flashbacks to the past. I think it balances out perfectly. So it's like it's the circle of Saw. It's all this is going on. I think that's what's great about it.
And I do like it. I love that explanation. That's great.
I enjoy it as well. But what I'm saying is, at the end of part 4, Hoffman's revealed as the bad guy, the last of the bad guys, and at the end of part 5, Hoffman is revealed as the last of the bad guys. So that's what I mean by Phil. I still love it. I
love the ending of 5 as well.
Oh, the ending of 5 is fantastic, and that was heavily criticized because apparently David Hakel's son came up with that idea.
Oh, it's so fucking great because it's almost like a really dark Empire Strikes Back ending where like the bad guys win or something like that. I love it. It's fucking great.
Yeah.
And so now I just want to get back to the story quick. So then now we're in the shock room, the tub shock room. Nothing much happens here. I love is that where that Megan Good gets killed?
Yeah, she gets stabbed in the neck and they do that horrible CGI splatter.
So yes, that's the one bad CGI. But then, so she gets shocked where they could have all taken a shot, which we find out later and lived. My issue comes here, the next scene, which is mouth-droppingly gory and like cringy, and you're like and whatever. And there's a big reveal that's fucking fantastic. But where I'm going with it is, before they go in there, that's when they reveal that there's 5 slots, and they reveal that everybody could have made it to this point.
Yeah.
But they didn't, and now there's just 2 of them. And if there's only one, the guy would have died and they wouldn't have been able to survive. So the fact that there's two, they could probably get through it, which they do. But what they do is they go back into the room with the girl in the tub that shocked and blew all the breakers and everything like that. Why not grab her quickly, drag her in, and stick her fucking arm into the slot?
That's what I said on Banana Laser. Correct. That's what I thought.
I didn't even know that. Because at that point they wouldn't. I don't think she was electrified. I think that blew all the circuits out and everything. So they could have easily unhooked her, dragged her out because there's the clock was ticking down,
right,
and the door slammed. But you're right. They
you
gave
and I can think that now.
Exactly.
But being there, you know.
Yeah. Well, I guess they already knew that they were gonna have to stick their hand into the slot, right?
They knew there were 5 slots. That's why she
Yeah.
went back, because when he said to her, "Why are there 5 slots?" And then she starts thinking, and she's the one who comes up with the the big reveal, and that's why she goes back to the other room to check out the currents. So they're not. I thought that too. I can't argue that because I thought that too. I'm like, take her body. They can bleed her too. Make it a little.
Stick both hands in her fucking head. Anything. Just get as much blood out of
the clock is ticking. The clock is ticking.
Yeah, they do close that. They do close that door very quickly before it explodes.
Yeah, I know. It does quick. You're right, because they're not thinking. They're like how their minds are going a mile a minute, and that clock is ticking down. So it's forgivable. But just in retrospect, of course, hindsight is 20/20. Why did they pull around?
Sure. But now back to the game. There's something I'm glad you mentioned these people again. I understand, and again, this is something I may have missed this view, and I just don't remember. But I understand why everybody is there, and they all played a part in this. But I'm forgetting, how come the investigative reporter, the dirt sheet writer, the fucking journalist, why is he being punished? How is he directly involved in this particular scam? What happened? I'm not saying there's no reason.
Oh, the loudmouth guy that gets blown to smithereens?
Yeah.
Whatever it was. The guy in the beginning that knew.
He knew everybody. Did he know everybody?
Yes, he knew who everybody was because he was a fucking writer for like the Inquirer or some fucking shit.
Because it's a shit rag writer. He's just a.
I understand.
Okay.
I understand. But what does that have to do with this? When they're reveal, it comes out later. They talk about it. They say, okay, you did this. You put innocent people were killed in this fucking apartment complex. Okay. And there's that scene where it comes out. Okay. Oh, you did this. I allowed this to go through. This is the zoning person. This is this. You're the patsy. Everybody played a part in all the shit happening. How did the journalist play a part? Is my question.
He wrote and covered up the real story.
So he somehow knew what it really was.
Are you guessing, or was that a reveal?
I believe that's what they said, because when
why would he not?
When Rita rehashes, she says something. Megan Good was the city council, the city planner who took bribes and stuff like that. Rita was obviously, I'm calling her Rita because I don't know her name. This was obviously the one who hired them to burn the building down so she could develop it for her condos. The drug addict guy is the one who set the fire, and the fire inspector girl was the one who, I guess, covered up. I guess the arson helped them get off. Helped.
Right, but what is that? Okay, so all those parts.
Yeah, and he wrote the news story. I guess that covered it up rather than exposing it, because he knew the truth. I think that's the whole point. What kind of a fucking
investigative journalist? Why wouldn't you, if you do something like that, don't they strive to fucking break a story, a scandal? Why would you not break the scandal?
Yeah. But he didn't.
You know what I'm saying?
He didn't.
Maybe
but he
when
didn't.
he talks.
He covered it. She even says the reporter who covers it up. She says those exact words, something along those lines.
Weird.
And it is weird, but it's believable because he knows so much about them that he knows the truth behind this. Yet he chose, maybe he's taking bribes. Who knows?
It's believable. I just think it's.
No, I thought the same thing. I was like, his isn't as strong as the other. I mean, look, even the tweaker, he was the best of all of them.
I know he was.
He was. I mean, he was obviously suffering. He had no idea 8 people were in there.
But he was a person born with every advantage.
Oh yeah,
advance. Yeah. The old fucking adage of Jigsaw. He was a baby.
Oh, the reveal of his arm after what he has. You notice they don't show one iota of Julie Benz doing it. I don't know if it was in her contract. I don't want any blood on me. I don't want to see anything. Or if they thought from a censorship standpoint, they're going to show the guy suffer and not focus on the women, because maybe these movies are, how people are. They think horror films are misogynist, but there's not. They show her reaction as if she's going through pain. You almost can think she's faking it, but they don't, because they fill up the beaker or whatever to the level. But you only see the trauma caused by him. It's always his hand that you see in there. It's all the
they fill up the Muppet beaker.
Yeah, the beaker. Bunson's there.
Yeah.
But so then what ends up happening when he lifts his hand up and it pretty much like folds out. Oh, beautiful! It's so ridiculously good. And
boy.
they both get out. They both live.
Well, you don't know. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Well, you do know he does. You don't know if she does. Well, we assume she does, but we don't see her again. But you do see him in 7.
Yeah, but at this point, you don't even know if he does. I mean, I'm not jumping ahead, but because he's unconscious. She's the one who's alive at the end. Saying we won, we won to Erickson.
Right.
Why does she have a sickle or whatever, a scythe in her hand?
I don't remember that shit.
Oh, like when the cops coming in and they get the jump scare of her going, and the sickle comes up and hits the table, and he's like, "Oh, drop it," and then realizes she's like a victim at that time.
Oh,
he probably saw her hand split down the middle.
Yeah. Anyway, it's just a weird thing, but again, I think we should, unless you guys have a lot of notes, I want to keep us on track here because we're over an hour on this movie.
Okay. I can't believe we're at an hour on Saw 5.
I have a lot of notes. I'll say this quickly. This is why I love Hoffman, because the way Jigsaw handles the training of Hoffman is 100% different than the way he trains Amanda. Have you noticed? Everything about Amanda was one thing, but he takes Hoffman. Everything with Amanda is emotion and getting to the next level emotionally. But with Hoffman, everything is more like matter of fact. This is what's going on. I'm going to show you the way. I'm going to show you how I anticipate. This is how we do it. We don't do it this way. And Hoffman actually takes to it where he still uses Jigsawisms when he's speaking. He gets that promotion in the beginning, and he does that thing which can be taken 2 ways. And he goes, "Justice was served here today. True justice was served. Life should be cherished." Yeah. So he says some things that are like straight Jigsawisms where there's a dual meaning here. And I love the way it's almost like he wanted both of them, but he was training them both rather differently. Yeah. And I think it's really cool to see. I love the training montage with Jigsaw.
It's like Rocky.
Well, no, it's true.
Right, it
is. Yeah. Amanda's training in Russia in the barn. No, but it's true because they're two different people. I mean, Hoffman is, with the exception of Seth Baxter and everything that sets him off after that, but he's kind of at this point still a stand-up guy, whereas Amanda, yeah.
And I have a soft spot for Amanda. Don't get me wrong. I do love Amanda. I'm not saying anything against her. I understand where she's coming from. But it's like, but I also see that she sees him as a father figure and a love and all this other stuff. And whatever's missing from her life, which caused her to become a junkie in the first place, I get. But the recruitment scene, when he gets Hoffman, that shit's gold. That scene is awesome when he tells him everything and he talks about how 67.5% of violent criminals end up back on the street, that this is a bad system and you're supporting it. My way works. And he goes and at one point Jigsaw, he's like, "You can either arrest me and take me in," you know what I mean? Because he wanted to. He's like, "I'm going to take you down." He's like, "Or I can give you another way." I love all that fucking stuff about the teaching, and it starts there. It's very... Nobody talks about it. I think it's an underrated aspect of this movie and of this franchise. I just like the passing of the torch to Hoffman, the way, maybe that's why I like Hoffman so much, because he really seems like I don't know.
Yeah, at the beginning, it seems like he's righteous and stuff. I don't like John's high horse comments about, despising murder, but I do like that scene anyway, in front of the mirror, sort of like, look at yourself, look where you've put yourself, even though that's not his real test at the time, you think it is. Even though there was a bullet in the barrel of the shotgun.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring this argument up, and we went long, but I mentioned that I was going to bring it up about part 5s and how usually by the 5th movie, they usually people just end up giving up, but like I have a soft spot for Friday the 13th part 5. I really enjoy Saw 5. Hell, I've argued back and forth. There are times where I actually don't mind the Dream Child. Yes, I've said it. It's not my favorite by any means, but I don't mind it sometimes. And even Halloween 5 have been forgivable on with some of the daytime Michael scenes and some of the set pieces. Obviously, there's a lot of shit in there too, but there's some good stuff. There are some good Part 5s out there.
Empire Strikes Back.
Yes. I'm going to beat you like with a
What?
rubber stick.
It's Part 5.
Yeah. But, exactly, but not out of the gate. Can you slap him for me?
Go stab this motherfucker.
Nice.
If only Jason could have talked in Friday the 13th Part 5 and said, Roy, I like what you're doing here. But what's with that fucking bald cap?
Right. Exactly.
Well, you don't want hair sticking through the hockey mask.
These are the top 2 Part 5s in my opinion. There is no others. The rest, I'm not a big.
Friday and Jason. Oh, I actually like the
Friday and Jason. Yeah, no.
The Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake is technically Part 5. I like that too.
I'm talking about Saw and Friday the 13th. Are the standout Part 5s for me. That's what it is. I even rate them the same. How about that? On the as a rating system, like we do out of 10. It's the same fucking.
I think I'm the same too. I think
I'm a little higher on Saw, but they are definitely the best Part 5s.
I'll tell you what. I've praised it. But there's one thing. Somehow it's a really solid movie, but there's just I can't put my finger on it, but it somehow lacked the pizzazz of some other movies. And that's the best word I can come up with to describe I don't know what's not there. There's just something, even though we have Amanda and Hoff and
there's no new revelation at the end. That's what it is. There's no brand new revelation.
It's more than just a revelation. These movies.
I think the budget got cut down. Like so I think it probably didn't feel as big, and the revelations is not quite as epic as some of the other ones. Although I do think him getting crushed above
his arm too,
above fucking Hoffman, and they do the breaking of the arm, and then the blood just pouring down on Hoffman as it closes is a fucking kick-ass end.
Makes me love Strom even more that he's fighting until the end. He's up there, he's climbing, he's trying to kick the thing out. He's not even panicked. I'd be crying and shitting myself. He's just trying to figure out a way out to the very end.
I think Erickson fakes his death too. I think that's what we're going to find out in the Spiral.
Nice.
No, Hoffman's still alive. He's still alive. You just see that bloody skeleton corpse from Part 6 walking around. It's like, I'll be okay.
Yeah, he's still got a hold of throat. Well, I give it a 7.5 out of 10.
Me too.
That's actually my rating for Friday 5, but like I said, I'm higher on this 8 out of 10.
Okay. That's cool though. That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I feel like it's 100% the revelation, because at the end, really the revelations here are within the game, these scumbags who we know are scumbags, learning that they could have survived playing together, and Strom learning that he could have survived had he learned to trust Hoffman, even though he couldn't trust Hoffman at this point. Hoffman's too far gone. But, there's no big reveal. It's Hoffman going into the ground. You're like, oh, Hoffman's still the bad guy. Now I got to sit and wait another year. I remember thinking about it. And this was started. I still love the movie, but it's part of the downfall of the series. I mean, the response to Part 5 is why Part 6 is the lowest grossing of this entire franchise.
Which is a shame.
It's a shame because it's one of the best ones, if not the best one, especially after this watch. But it's the lowest gross, and I think 7 did better simply because they advertised it as the final one, and you knew that they were going to wrap it up. So
speaking of 6, why don't we get into it?
Yeah, let me pull up. Where the fuck is it?
Okay, I'm still here. I'm just going to walk here for one quick second.
All right, so Saw 6, we have Patrick Melton and Marcus Dunstan back as writers. Kevin Reuter? I don't even know how to say his name. As director.
Yeah.
It was all people who worked on all the Saw films.
Yeah.
Haeckel, this guy, they all did other stuff on all the Saw films, and then they all got a chance to direct a film.
Yeah, some of them were editors.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Production designer or something. Yeah.
Agent Strom is dead, and FBI agent Erickson draws nearer to Hoffman. Meanwhile, a pair of insurance executives find themselves in another game set by Jigsaw.
Well, this one's epic. This one, I find that I think it's the best one. I rate it the same as part one. But
this one reaches, I love it. This one reaches. This one is really great in terms of having a great person being rehabilitated by the Chaps. Clearly being rehabilitated by the Chaps. I like this character of William, and also this one with the reveal of some of the things that Hoffman's been doing certainly elevates Amanda's status even higher. Because at this point you're thinking, oh man, Amanda failed in part 3. How could she be so clumsy? She was doing so well. And then the reveal of this makes her epic, because she knew what was going to happen, but she still did it because she loved John that much that she didn't want to hurt him.
I feel like by putting people, so they've always had that evil group that's been in the house, and we just talked about part 5, but to take it to a step further and not make them evil. They're people that are just doing shitty things, and the whole insurance thing is such a great angle. I think that's what gives this one an edge and elevates it so much more. I absolutely love that aspect, and how they wedged the relationship with John and William in there, and that this was obviously on Jigsaw's mind, because he pre-recorded all of this knowing that this is a future game that he wanted to play out.
Yeah.
Yep, and he told Hoffman about it. He said, "There's one more thing we have to do. I have to do." Yeah.
And it opens again with another sort of random trap, which is
brutal.
This pound of flesh. I gotta tell you, some of it makes me laugh.
When she lifts up her shirt and looks at her flat belly.
That's actually good comedy. That's actually comedic. But when he cuts out the first chunk, I swear that's a pound right there, and he's done, and he wins. But I guess not. And then she's cutting her arm, but you notice she cuts her arm, but then she starts in a fresh spot.
Yeah, she cuts higher because she knows she needs more flesh, because he's already cut a lot of weight. It's not a pound of flesh; it's whoever cuts the most.
That's it. Okay, well then that makes way more sense. And then at the very last second, she gets the heavier amount.
She tips the scales, and
then it's like, I guess, how do you look when you're hacking your own arm off?
Yeah, that's true.
I laughed.
And she won that part in a competition. I remember it was a television show. I watched it. You remember that, Dave?
I didn't. I knew that she was the winner of the Scream Queen contest or something, but I never watched it. I saw it on the Fangoria message board or something at the time.
I watched the show. They watched the show. They were a bunch of girls competing for that part.
Nope. Okay, that explains why she's not a great actress then.
No, they weren't great actresses.
Because they cut back to her in the hospital for another funny scene, and then she's in part 7 for an even funnier scene.
That's right. She does come back.
So that's it. That's I got some unintentional comedic value out of that opening scene.
And look, we get a quick scene right after that, just a quick cut to Cecil and Amanda driving in a car.
I hate that. I actually put that down. I said that it was unnecessary. I do not know.
Totally not necessary.
That's the one. Again, it's not a deterrent, but it's just such a bad editing decision. Yeah. And they explain it, and it's fully fleshed out later. There's absolutely no need for that scene to be wedged in. I said they wedge it. Random shot of Cecil and Amanda. Cool reveal, but it's just wedged in. Totally unnecessary.
I agree. Especially since not only do they reveal, that she was she was Jill's patient, but you see John bring her in and show him how his rehabilitation works better than Jill's methadone prescriptions, and you obviously see her and Cecil walking in the night Cecil accidentally kills Gideon. So there was absolutely no need to give us this little
teaser, but it's not even. It fully shows it, and you're like, because I remember turning to my daughter, going, "Holy shit, I forgot about this." And then it just cuts away. I'm like, why did it?
What the hell is that?
Why? What happened? Yeah. And then for it to be so well presented later, you're just like, it's just a minor mar on a otherwise really great Saw movie.
Yeah, and really well developed later. The backstory, even with John talking about, how he sort of regrets being so supportive of the clinic and stuff like that, and basically learning about the true intentions of of these addicts, you know, basically saying that, you know, methadone is just a masking agent, that, you know, they really need to save themselves, and basically inspiring the whole birth of his legacy is really well done. So you didn't need that little scene. I mean, it doesn't bother me. I just wanted to bring it up because it's just such a fast, random shot that's like, why is that there?
Weird.
Yeah.
Like, it's like artsy film stuff, but totally unnecessary within the realm of a Saw movie. There's no foreshadowing. It's a reveal to totally abandon it, only to come back to it later. There's no connection there. It's such a bizarre sequence because we go right to, I think, the introduction of the insurance company. I could be wrong, but
you cut back to Hoffman coming out of the trap, and then it, real quick, just to show that, which is, it's cool, you know, you see where he ends up, but oh man,
and he takes the hand away, which is fantastic. I actually wrote a rather bad joke. I said, gotta
give him a hand for that.
Yeah, no, I
worse.
That would have been. I don't even know where it is. It's so bad. I probably just deleted it.
Yeah, probably shouldn't do that.
I actually said, did the actor? I don't know. I go, did the actor get royalties for his hand? Does his hand get royalties for that?
Oh, hand royalties. Hey, listen. You could say Strom was in Part 6. He had a hand job. Dave's back.
Right.
And you notice the cameo of actors in this? Like the guy who plays Harold was from Father of the Bride. You know, the one who says you gave me a death sentence. He denies the claim. That was I think that was Brian from Father of the Bride, and you got Eddie Winslow from Family Matters in there. That is Eddie, right?
You got the son is Roderick in Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Yeah, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, of course. Yeah. I love Roderick. But you see people like Oreo.
We haven't mentioned that all of these movies have been filmed an hour, like less than an hour away from where I lived. All of them in Toronto.
Oh, yeah, that's because no one cares.
Yeah. Man, it's like every episode I hate you a little bit more so.
I hate me too, because there was no need to be that mean about that joke, but I felt like it had to be said.
That's what makes it funny, Brandon, let's be honest. Why are all evil corporations called Umbrella? Not that, well, I guess insurance company. Umbrella. Insurance company.
I mean, look, Travelers Insurance, their logo is the umbrella, so they probably took took that. But man, when you meet William and the dog pit, the dog pound.
That's right, dog pound would have actually sounded better, right?
You look at me when you're killing me.
Fuck, I wrote that down.
That was good.
Comic line. I get comedy.
You thought it was comic? Wow.
Because it's kind of funny when he saves the girl and he's like, well, I guess this is it.
When you're killing me.
You look at me when you're killing me.
It's such a kick-ass line. I'm going to say that even if someone's not killing me.
It sounds like something that would be in like a Scorsese movie or a Tarantino movie or something. I like it. And then the guy does give him that respect. He does look at him. I like that it worked out that way.
What about...
William is instantly remorseful the minute his game begins. Instantly remorseful.
He's a son of a bitch until the game.
He's a scumbag, but man, he's rehabilitated from the opening, from the minute he has to hold his breath against Hank. Because he tells Hank, he's like, hold your breath, Hank. He could just keep his mouth shut and hold his own breath. He knows he's going to beat Hank anyway.
This setup and reveal is better than Part 3. And Part 3 was damn good. Brandon, is this where you have a problem with it?
No, I'm like close with you on that. I'm close with you. Like,
I absolutely love it because you set it up. They play with their expectations again. You think he's cheating on his fucking wife, whose birthday it is, and he's not going to go out with that because he's going to screw his accountant or lawyers or whatever. Yeah. And it's not that at all. Yeah. But that's how. But because we're conditioned to think this shit, we just assume that.
It's so brilliant. Yeah, the wife and son is his family, and Pamela, the reporter who shows up in Part 5, is his mistress. And you're like, oh man, this is gonna play out. Someone's gonna kill him. But then the reveal at the end, how it ties back to Harold, and oh man, just brilliant stuff. And the whole, Jigsaw, the whole message behind this one, where you think the dead will have no claim over your soul. Fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
Fucking brilliant, because because it is, because it's Harold. It's Harold's family, and he can't forgive him at the end of the son.
Oh, I actually wrote a line that said they kind of draw a lot of comparisons between Jigsaw, or parallels between Jigsaw and William, talking about these are the rules. Yeah, William says these are the rules, and a couple and his whole mathematical equation.
Yeah, his formula.
Jigsaw works on a different type of engineering equation behind the scenes and everything else.
And Jigsaw even talks about the big difference between. He says the one thing you're not taking into account is a person's will to live.
Yeah.
Especially when faced with death.
That's a great ass line.
Brilliant.
Yep.
Yeah. There's so much brilliance in this film. So much brilliance in this film. This is right up there.
There's a lot of great to it. The reason I prefer what goes on with 3 is in 3 it directly Jigsaw maneuvers it so it's actually tying into Amanda's game, and that holds a little more weight to me, Amanda, than anybody else that's in this movie. So I guess that's what I like more, and I also like the fact that there's also the reveal who the husband and the wife are, and that is directly in the game. It's cool
hard,
at the end.
It's hard to beat that.
That's what I'm saying. It's very good. I think it's a little more impactful for me the way it plays out in 3. But it is still very good.
But don't you love the reveal of what Hoffman did to Amanda in this one? Even better for Amanda's sake, in terms of like how much you love her, just because like she was willing to end her own life and kill Lynn, knowing it's going to destroy their lives. She would rather her and John die than have to face the disappointment of him knowing that she was involved in Gideon's death. I don't look at it as like. I don't look at it as a cheap way out. I look at it as more like she loved him that much, that she wanted them to die because she loved him so much. Then even if they had both survived, him knowing that, I don't think she could have lived with that.
I agree. I think that's great. I didn't think of it that way, but since you brought it out.
Yeah, that's how I see it, because it almost looks like, oh, well, she's just going to do it because, he says it, but like, she's got to know at this. I mean, she doesn't obviously know that they're husband and wife because that's part of her game, but she knows if Hoffman is telling her to do this, or I'll tell John, she knows it's not going to end well.
I want to know what the original note said, because there was an original note, because he told her to go and retrieve it. That's why she did, and that's when he saw it there.
Yeah.
I wish there was a way to find out what John originally wrote in a note to Amanda, because we don't know. We have no idea. In the context of 3, all we do, it still makes her upset. You know what I mean? So us as the viewer of 3, I always wonder, I'm like, what could that note have possibly said? Of course, it took 3 movies later to find out, but I'm like, okay, now it makes sense. But at the time, so do you guys believe this? When they're doing 3, they're really going 4 movies ahead?
I thought 4, 5, in this 6? Case, I think they probably, it just seems... It's too well constructed for them not to have at least had the treatment and story structure idea, the arcs of the characters, and what they thought were going to happen. They may have not had every minute detail worked out, but I think they probably structured it and said, here's what we want to happen in 3, 4, 5, 6.
I agree.
Maybe especially 5 and 6. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say I agree, especially given the success of the first few movies. Like, they know. Mm-hmm. Sure. They know even.
I think it's after 2. That's when they said we got something here. Yeah, we're gonna have a series come out on Halloween every year, and let's flesh it out so that we actually control this story, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
You know what I'm thinking though? I'm thinking that how you see 5 as an in between thing between 4 and 6. Maybe initially 5 and 6 were going to be the same movie, and it just ended up, they wrote so much that they said, okay, let's just split it. Maybe they were going to put elements of 5, just one game, because honestly, the game in 5 is really cool and all, but you could go without it. You can have the game in 6.
That's what I was just saying. Like
the game in, right. Yeah. Be the game of 5. And when they started writing, maybe there was just so much backstory with the training of Hoffman and everything they wanted to do, that they probably started writing so much. They probably said, well, you know what? We don't want to have a 2.5 hour, 3 hour movie.
They saw dollar signs too, and let's face it, it's a franchise. It was a moneymaker. They knew. They said, look, we've got enough here that we could probably get it into a couple more movies.
But it would be hard, because think about it. The main antagonist is dead at the end of your 3rd movie. The fact that they did even 2 movies after that is amazing. The fact that they've continued on, it's out of control.
To be in it more as the movies
You're right. 5 and 6, he's all over the place.
He filmed so much footage that there could easily be a found footage prequel.
Yeah, look, he's not even that big of a. He's not a big deal in part 1. Nobody gives a shit about John Kramer in part 1.
True, and then 2 we have him at the sit down, and
Yeah.
you're right. You're right though.
Hoffman listening back to the Pound of Flesh, death. He's listening back to almost like admiring his work before he goes in there. I thought that was kind of cool too, because he wants people to suffer. He uses those lines there. You want him to suffer just as much as I do. He's about to suffer.
Yeah,
says
look,
that,
again,
but
look,
not true.
they're not good people, but again, not winnable
Right.
for both. So another, little issue like with Jigsaw and some of his early traps. Not winnable for both.
This is the problem in this, not a problem with the movie. This is the problem in the Jigsaw philosophy. Although maybe he did this on purpose, because ultimately it's about you get to choose who lives or dies. He chooses, and what's the main character's name? The guy in the
William.
William, because every trap is 50-50.
Yeah.
Only one person can live. The first trap, which we don't even know enough about it, with the 2 people throwing their stuff, the body parts and the thing they make the pound. That is somebody's got to die. Like Biggie Small said, somebody got to die. You know what I mean?
They were
Somebody
bad.
had
She
to
even
die.
admits what they were doing at their work was, wrong. I don't know what kind of work they did. But,
The game, somebody has to. It's not even a game. It's a game where one person is going to live and one person is going to die.
Yeah.
So in essence, it's different. Like they can't both survive.
It's
so
different
Hoffman
in the sense that
Because it's Hoffman.
it's Hoffman. It's
However,
an issue.
evil.
It's an issue because it's Jigsaw in the beginning.
But it's listen to me. Hoffman is the first trap with the girl cutting off her arm and that. But the other trap, the one you're just getting to, the second one is a 50-50. It's a Jigsaw. It's the breathing. They both can't live, and then there's another 50-50 later. There are 3 50-50s, and then one of them is a
67-33.
Right.
It is.
Somebody
That's exactly
has
what
to
it
die.
is. 4 had to
really
die.
is.
4 had to die. 2 had to live. Yeah,
It's never happened before, and it all happens in this movie. And I'm trying to see, is that what they're trying to say in this movie? That this movie is particularly about Jigsaw and the other guy and the parallels, because Jigsaw even says it. He goes, so essentially,
you choose who lives and dies.
choose who lives.
Yeah, it's Jigsaw.
So
it's Jigsaw
is that why?
Yeah,
Well, he does use that.
Yeah, he's testing Williams' philosophy, but it's counterproductive to his message, like it is in the earlier films, where you see a trap where only one person can live.
But
that's why he's just got to be less self-righteous about the I despise murder, because you're still contributing to
listen, is it done with intent though? So Peter can see that Jigsaw is doing exactly what he's doing.
William,
you know, William, that's what I'm saying. He's saying now you're going to see it in front of you. You get to choose who lives and who dies. This is what you do from behind the desk all your life with your dog pit and everything else and your formulas. Now you're going to see it front and center. Yeah. Literally people right in front of you. One person lives, one person dies, or whatever, or 67, 33%. You know what I'm saying? So do you think that Jigsaw was he was so committed to William that he was willing to go to do that, to sacrifice some people just so William could fucking see the error in his ways, that it meant that much to him, mostly because he condemned him when he tried to
absolutely it's really to drive home his point that his formula is flawed. It's unwinnable that way.
Absolutely. And I just want to know where's like the chicken exit, like what happens when the lady's saved. He's like, you find a way out of here. Asshole, I'm still tied up over here. I got barbed wire around my neck.
No, her hands were released. Released.
Okay, and where should she go from there?
She'll take the barbed wire off, and a door should open up, and she could walk out. Same way with the 2 girls in that plague. 2 girls. 1
Guaranteed that old lady's the killer in Spiral.
No, she's the killer in Devil.
Yeah, that's true. Isn't it?
Indeed. Nice.
But I mean, I don't know.
No, I just wanted to, No,
it's true. It makes the whole idea of the game even more powerful, because he's showing him how flawed he is, and he's showing him the integrity of the people he works with. Because even the girl who he helps, the lawyer who he helps, she immediately wants to cut him open to get that key. Same thing with
had to be patient.
Same thing with the pimp in part 4. It's like, bitch, I just saved your ass. What you doing? With
Yeah.
Ray.
No, it's that again, human nature. You just know that, yeah, they're
Exactly.
It's crazy.
It all comes back to
that carousel thing with the shotguns or whatever. They're like, who says pitch dark?
Pitch dark? Is that a pitch black?
Yeah.
Who said
She goes, it's pitch dark.
That's great.
My daughter pointed out. She goes, who the hell says pitch dark? I'm like, you're right. It's pitch
Americans
black.
say it.
Yeah, well, fuck you, American.
Americans who film in Toronto.
Yeah.
maybe they thought Canadians said that.
Yeah.
Pitch dark.
Yeah.
That's funny. I never picked up on that.
Look at me. You look at me when you're killing. Or no, it's like when you're killing me, you look at me.
I like that scene. That's good shit.
Fuck.
That's
He
good.
does. He delivers it for a crazy line like that, because that's a hard line to deliver. He does it well, man. But I'd still laugh at it, but not because he's delivering it ludicrously or anything like that. It's just awesome.
What a tough choice, though. He saves the one girl. Just comes out and says, "I have 2 children. They can't grow up without me." Obviously, that's true, because she even says to him, "You've met them before." Then everyone's like, "I'm pregnant." Everyone else is lying their ass off.
It made sense. I think he made the right choices.
I think so too.
Yeah, based on what we get there.
I might have saved Eddie from Family Matters just because Black Lives Matter, but
maybe so. But he came too soon. He came too soon.
He came too soon. That's
It's
my
too
problem.
soon.
That's Christian's
But then you
problem.
don't have drama.
Oh, that's been my problem all my life. I never come too soon. There's no such thing. That's the Dave Chappelle thing. I come right on time. Then we get to the audio. This is the audio scene, the voice audio sequence that's next. I want to know. I think this builds beautifully. It builds beautifully because they're trying to be cinematic here. I understand you're taking issues. They suspect him. They said, we need you down here for a more pressing issue. You already know that they're working this out, but they're playing with it. Like they know that the handprints that he was using, Strom's hand, was post-mortem and whatnot, but they're building to it, but they still don't know it's him. Then
they 100% know. It was Perez's last words were Hoffman.
They keep looking at him, and he's holding his cool.
They don't know. They suspect. It's a big fucking difference.
He's
especially if you're a cop.
His coffee. He puts his coffee down. He's looking at. He's asking questions back. He's holding his cool, and then that girl's getting closer and closer to that voice thing. And I think they build that scene so great, and then it's just a massacre. And I'll tell you one thing. He looks at Perez when he's killing her.
Yes, you know what it reminds me of?
He was looking at her. Like
he was making her come.
Yeah.
That's right. He was fucking, you know what it reminds me? It reminds me of the kill in Devil's Rejects when fucking Wydell stabs fucking Mother Firefly. And he's fucking up closer in the cell and he's fucking stabbing her. That bitch came when I killed her. That's what I was thinking. I wonder if Perez came when he killed her, you know?
I was just cracking a bad joke that other guy was like, you look at me when you're killing me. And
I know.
This case he did.
I think it's a great scene. I'm with you. And I love when he goes fucking all ham on him and does his thing and throws the coffee and slices. It's great. But I just don't understand. See, I think this is where Brandon and I are going to disagree because I see that it's weird. They take a phone call and he's on the phone and when Erickson looks over at Hoffman. And you're thinking, okay, so he fucking... you would think that the phone call would say, well, we've just fucking deciphered it, and it's Hoffman. You know what I mean? Because the way he looks at him is like, oh, you're like, oh, shit. But then you go there, and they're still doing it. And then Perez is, like, leading up to him. There's just one thing I don't understand. It's some shit you always see in movies right before a reveal like that. If so-and-so and this and Strom, I just don't see it. And, gee, are you nervous, Hoffman? But the thing is, they really don't know. And I just think that's... I enjoy the scene as it's being played out, but I don't think they know. They're waiting for the fucking smoking gun. They're waiting for the final thing with the voice. They have suspicions.
They have to have a strong suspicion that they should have been on higher alert. I'm not saying... I love the way this thing...
Strom suspicion?
Don't forget, Hoffman's the one who plants the idea that Strom that Strom is saying that somebody from the inside was involved when he plants that in part 4 or 5. I don't which one of them. He's talking to Erickson and something about about
when
that.
Erickson shows up.
Yeah. So the fact that Hoffman's the one saying that to Erickson, and then they know that Strom's hand is being used to plant evidence with dead fingerprints that don't have the oily residue. Dead prints, yeah, the fresh prints, not so fresh prints.
Little red Corvette.
That's how you find Jazzy Jeff in the snow. You got to look for the fresh prints.
Oh, jeez.
But
still,
no, there was too much. There was too much with Perez being suspicious of her, being suspicious of him from the start, and with Erickson.
They should have been better prepared.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It still should have played out the way it did, but they were so caught off guard. It was just like, no. When that voice plays, and they're just like, what? Like, no way. There was nobody else. It had to be
cinematic. I get you, but it's cinematic. It's a great scene.
I'm not saying it's not a great scene, but it's too sloppy for 2 FBI agents, especially Perez.
I'm not disagreeing, but I still like the way it plays out. But
I think it crossed their mind. I think it crossed their mind. I think they misled us by having him look that way, and it just because you mean to tell me you think that Erickson pieced all that shit together? Oh, I bet he made a fake phone call.
Yes.
Well, hold on, think of all the. Hold on now, Perez isn't aware of that. Erickson, what happens in 5 when you think that he's gonna think, oh, he probably he probably made that phone call to me in that movie asking about Strom, or in the movie, or a couple of weeks back, or whatever the fuck, asking about Strom, and then he probably had his phone, and he called up and hung up on me, and then he strategically placed the phone here at this place, just so when I show up, I'm gonna see it there, and he knew that I was gonna dial this number. You think that stuff's going through Erickson's head, that Hoffman's that much of a fucking
I think
mastermind?
Erickson and Perez would definitely know about that, especially given the fact that the prints being planted at all these crime scenes is from a dead guy who couldn't possibly have done it, that it has to be an inside man. The only one left is Hoffman. 100%. I just think it's just a little sloppy. I just think it could have been handled better. I think they should have been ready for it. I think they should have known, but he still gets the upper hand somehow. That's fine.
I know what you're saying, B. I do love the way that they present that scene, though. But I can see where you're coming from a professional standpoint.
I'm a professional killer.
Yeah, there you go. But like from the FBI, I just don't get, after the massacre, he runs right the fuck back out, grabs Strom's hand, and starts putting prints on everything again. Didn't they just say that they didn't work? They figured it was post-mortem? You don't think they can figure it out again?
He's buying himself some time.
Yeah, he panicked, and he wants to make sure he has to destroy the evidence. And he's flying and whatever. And there's no way that everybody knows. He's like, who knows about this? She says everybody. He says you're full of shit, and I agree. I think
love right. She was just saying that to fuck with them. I love that.
Right.
I do like that. Yeah, nobody knew. Actually, only one person knew, and Jill informs that one person after she opens up her box and gets all the contents and makes the delivery. And that's what's brilliant about why I enjoy part 7, because of the drop-off she makes in part 6.
Wait, I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about.
I'm talking about the manila envelope that she drops off to Dr. Gordon. She goes to the hospital and she puts it through the slit. It's not for Cecil. Cecil's dead. It's for Dr. Gordon. She goes to that hospital. That's St. Eustace or whatever the hell it's called.
I thought it was Pamela Jenkins. I thought she was feeding her fucking shit.
No.
Well, why not? Because remember, this Pamela Jenkins kept fucking asking for shit, and then she gave her something, and now she has something to give her. That's the only thing I thought it had to be. Because why not?
No, it was a hospital. She gave her something
valuable.
It was a hospital she went to. They even showed her on the camera walking in, going to an office, and putting the envelope in the slit. It's Dr. Gordon.
You'll know the scene because you can guarantee the extra was like someone's son or cousin, because there's a guy vigorously vacuuming when she comes in and she talks to him and he's like, points.
Oh yeah.
He's down the hall, and then she walks and he's just vacuuming with all. That would be if I was in the movie. That's how it would have been vacuuming.
That's how the contents of the box play out. You got the 6 envelopes, 5 of which Hoffman knows about. He doesn't know that he's number 6. You got the reverse bear trap, which is obviously for number 6 Hoffman, and you got that manila envelope, which is filled with, I guess, a contingency plan for Dr. G. Should Hoffman pass? Should Hoffman pass his game?
Please don't put that idea in my head and fucking besmirch this fucking wonderful movie.
No,
I don't I'm gonna hold it against.
No, not yet.
I'm gonna come down a fucking.
Find that out later.
But it's at the hospital. It's at a hospital. Why would it be Cecil at a hospital?
That's what I'm saying. If you're gonna make it, that's what I'm saying. I don't want to hear it because now the movie's coming down for me because you're taking a great fucking movie and you're just the fact that ridiculous, preposterous idea is even being put in this fucking magnificent film.
She's dropping something off somewhere.
At a hospital.
It's happening, yeah.
It's at a hospital, and it's for Dr. G, as far as I'm concerned. I think it's perfect. But it's setting up the way it's supposed to end. It's setting up the way it's supposed to end.
It's a bad decision, and now it's besmirching this film too.
Why does Hoffman being an apprentice bother you so much, but Amanda doesn't, Hoffman doesn't? Why can't the doctor?
We'll get to it when we get to it.
I'm not saying
that argument for that show.
I think you're way off on this one. I think you need to be a little more forgiving of that.
I to be honest, I'm with B on this because I actually think.
Come on, Christian, you're a father. That's all I need to tell you. That you have a fucking child. Think about what this fucking person put his fucking child through. There's no way you could tell me it's a ticket to heaven, and I would never align myself with that person.
Okay.
What about you? What about you, B? With your fucking, you have a niece and nephew that you love very much. If they fucking kidnap them, could you think of any fucking possible situation where you'd say, "Well, I'm gonna hook up with him for just to fucking do it"? Get the fuck
after I learned the important lesson of the Saw franchise to cherish my life. And
so you're gonna sell out your fucking your nephew? Get the fuck out of here.
Who do you think some of these other pigmen are?
Let's see. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't give a fuck. We'll get to it when we get to it. Let me go to something good. I love this. I love Amanda. I love when John brings Amanda to Jill. That whole fucking scene. After what you're doing doesn't work, they're on methadone. It's a masking agent, and then she comes down. She goes,
Dave wasn't here when we talked about this.
Oh.
Yeah, no, it is a great scene. We talked about it because Christian and I didn't like the scene at the very beginning where they show Cecil and Amanda for 2 seconds and then cut away. And
I know that part.
I repeat, I don't like that scene.
We don't like that scene.
I don't either. And I'm not talking about that scene, and I'm not talking about the scene where it's revealed that she was with him. I just think that's really cool when he goes and he visits her, and he talks about how her things don't work and everything else.
I know.
And then she reintroduces Jill to Amanda. Right. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what we were saying. It's okay. It's all right.
Oh, okay.
That's literally what we said. We said we didn't like that scene at the beginning of the review because of the fact that they bring them in later, actually show that Amanda was Jill's patient, talk about the methadone being a masking agent, talk about how his way works better than Jill's, and talks about his regret for supporting the clinic in the first place. And in a way, that's the way William ties in, because William was insuring the clinic.
And that's how they know each other, and
that's where they met. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah, because they were at that party, and that's when they had that discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. That makes. I don't know.
It's all good dialogue too. Like when he's talking about when he's talking. Well, Brandon already brought it up when they have the discussion there, but when he actually goes back and says, "Hey, I think I found a way that I could do it, but you guys won't. You've denied me coverage." And he's like, "What mathematical equation does this not work in, or whatever?"
Well, he says the cancer is malignant and terminal, and it's going to come back eventually anyway. So
yeah, it rolled off your tongue really smooth.
Yeah, really.
Well, and what I like is he's like, it's not about money; it's about principle. He's like, "I've got money."
Right.
Then why did he go get it fucking cured? I'm joking, but
because that cure wasn't going to work.
Only a 30% success rate or 33% success rate. But
and like William says, it's terminal, so it's going to come back anyway.
But then
that speech is great when he says all that shit to him, and he's like, "Fucking, what do you know about life?" And then he says, they talk about the politicians and this and that, because all the important decisions, they're made by the fucking insurance companies. He says it's great. I love that. I love that. I love that he gets that mad, and all because of that, he fucking. That's why I want a Jigsaw in every town. That's why I say when I see fucking things that are going on that are just unjust, I want someone to be able to come in there and fucking take people out and say, this is what you deserve for treating people this way. Because that is a serious problem in this country.
No, it is. I know, and that's why I like this one. I think it's got an edge to it because it actually feels like it's addressing something a little bit more so than where the other movies were going. So I think it gets it points for that as well. When they cut back to Will, though, this is after I think he's already dealt with his lawyer after she tried to attack him and whatever. Why the fuck is he like limping and all of a sudden, like, I know he got burnt a bit, but he's like limping. He looks walking like zombie Flyboy from Dawn of the Dead down the hallway. It's the craziest. His foot's all like sideways. Like,
really?
Did he get burnt that badly?
What, from that hot steam?
Yeah. Does hot steam twist your foot around?
Did you see? It was melting their flesh.
Okay.
It was right up close. You literally saw it melting into the flesh.
True. Did it get his leg? I guess if it, I don't.
It did get his leg.
I never got him in the face. I thought. In the face.
I think then there was another area where he was trying to help her out, where the steam, you didn't see him, but you heard him screaming.
Yeah.
Yeah. It got her in the leg.
Yeah. That was, I'm going to say something. This movie isn't as gory as there were some instances where I thought, I don't think this was even, it's definitely not as gory as 3 or 5. That's one thing, as great as this movie is, I think instances where they held back on the gore, I was surprised. They were all, what do you call it? The one, like with that girl that he saved, she had a fucking shotgun right under her fucking chin, right? And instead of having her head blow up and had an exploding head, it was just a fucking weak thing. And then when they had the carousel and fucking shotguns right there, it was just like, you could have put that on the fucking Disney Channel.
That was
to their stomach and
the belly shots. The belly shots should have been better, but I guess they couldn't have them too strong, or else they would have gone through and killed the people behind them. The shotgun thing was like a projectile, which I liked. How it came up through her like head. I liked that.
Well, I liked all of it. I thought it was gory enough. I mean, they replayed the end of. They replayed the end of 5, so you've got that. They got the pound of flesh beginning, which is pretty fucking over the top.
And Williams' kill to me is the most brutal in the franchise.
That was great. The end.
Williams' kill is by far the most brutal. It just lingers on so uncomfortably long.
And then he falls out and the guts fall.
Oh. He gets fucking melted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From the hydrofluoric acid.
And the end shot is epic. Like the end scene with Hoffman escaping, how he fucking goes, you're talking about going ham, how he goes ham on his ham hands, and then he pulls his hand out to get out of that chair and then stick the damn bear trap through the window, and it just gets stuck in the it's just beautiful how he gets out of it.
And it's perfect because that's his test. Like they're playing part 4's tape here. This was his test that John had set up for him, because he says, you think you will walk away untested at the end of 3, end of 4, and this was his test, not the hair trigger shotgun early on after Seth's kill. This was his test, which is why the contingency is put in place in case he survives, which John gives him a fair chance to survive, which he does, in case he has not learned from that game, which we will find out in the next movie that he has not, and that he goes after Joe. That's why the contingency is made.
Well, it's great because you get that Joe reveals that number 6 is him.
Yeah.
That that was her thing, and then she puts the reverse bear trap. Can I reveal it now? That's what was in the box. Holy fuck! God forbid I said it earlier. and then
you said it 75 fucking times.
Puts it on his head. It's good, but it's all running concurrent.
We finally get it
with the guy and the reveal that William, when he's getting meltationed by the fact that when it opens up, it's his sister on one side, whose birthday he ditched at the beginning, and it's the wife and son of the guy that you said was from Father of the Bride.
Yeah, and Harold.
That's the dad that was killed because he was denied insurance, and they're there seeing the guy face to face.
You just killed me.
Oh, that's such a powerful, reveal.
Yeah, George Milburn. He was in both Father of the Brides. He played Brian McKenzie.
It's such a good scene, and the mother actually seeing the the remorse in William's eyes. She can't kill him, but it's so good because you would be filled with rage as the son, being deprived of a father or a parent, and you'd see them there, and you just boom, and he just does it, and it stops it. Now, maybe he's the killer in Spiral.
The kid? Yeah, right. That's funny. I have a question.
Real sorry, D. Go.
No, don't be sorry. I don't know. I'm jumping in. How we talked about the note before, but how would Hoffman know that fucking Cecil and Amanda were responsible for Gideon's death?
I wrote that note. Absolutely exact
same.
You
think Jigsaw's just gonna tell him?
I wrote that. I'm like, where did I put that? I thought I had. There's no way he would have known that. I actually wrote it there.
I never thought about that till this time.
It was a great reveal at first. Before I went like, wait a second, how the fuck does he know they were together?
Right. I don't think Jigsaw told him. Come on.
Well, Jigsaw doesn't know. There's no way Jigsaw knows Amanda was with.
No, that was the whole point of the note.
Yeah. No, Jigsaw doesn't know. That's why Amanda does what Hoffman does, because she doesn't want Jigsaw to find out. She can't live with that. She loves him too much. But my theory on that, and it is a good point, my theory is on they're both junkies. Junkies tend to run in similar groups. They've probably been picked up and arrested a million times by Detective Matthews. Obviously, he plants evidence on Amanda. So Cecil and Amanda have probably been picked up together in the past. And that's probably my guess on that.
But how does he even know Cecil's responsible for the Gideon thing? How would Hoffman know that? That was before he even knew Jigsaw or any of that. It was a year before Jigsaw became a killer.
Well, Jigsaw would probably have told them all about that, why he started.
Think so? Oh my! By the way, this guy Cecil at the fucking place came in and opened the door and fucking killed my wife's baby. And
you know about loss. I know about loss. He's talking about his sister and why Hoffman did what he did. That's when he could confide and go, I know about loss. My son was killed. But you're right. Maybe that's the detail of it.
The real problem is the fact that Jigsaw tells Hoffman it can never be personal. He tells him that with the Seth Baxter trap. Yet the whole thing started here because of something personal that happened to Jigsaw. So it's very like that. That's really the only issue I have with the entire franchise, is that the message is a little muddled, but it's still a great message. It just gets a little muddled. He can't tell Hoffman it can never be personal when his whole point of starting this whole thing in the first place is personal because of the death of his son. And he can't say, I despise murderer, when he's setting up some traps that you have to murder in order to win. So that's the only part I have. But in terms of these little sort of, how does he know? How does he not know? I chalk it up to the cops. I chalk it up to like little things that you might know. Like when you would question like somebody, like a drug dealer, oh, he runs with so-and-so. I know he runs with this one. Amanda and Cecil. It is a good point. I actually never thought about it.
I thought of it this time, Yeah. And I have one more question. Everything else I have is glowing. My last question is this. Unless I saw this scene wrong, it appears as if Jill Tuck shocks him when he goes in a chair.
Yeah.
How did fucking she rig that thing to fucking shock him? And she knew she was gonna sit there. How does she know Hoffman's lair and that fucking there's gonna be something here? I'm gonna hook up a fucking shock to him to shock him, and he's gonna.
Don't forget, this was John's final game, so John had that rigged for Hoffman. Hoffman
never saw it. All that fucking time. This guy didn't see shit hooked up to his chair.
It's a little thing underneath the chair. You wouldn't think, because he's going to sit down at his computer screen. That's where he's got the monitors for what's going on in part 6. So he's sitting down to watch Pamela and Harold's family play out the end. He's seeing William being melted, and he just sits down to watch. And then Jill comes in and zaps him and bear traps him. Don't forget, this was all planned years ago to test Hoffman. That's what I think is extra brilliant that I don't know if people pick up on.
Okay.
This is Hoffman's test. This is the tape at the end, beginning of part 4 and the end of part 4. This is where it culminates at the end of part 6.
That's fine. That's a better answer than the last question I asked about how did he know about Cecil and Amanda. I'll accept that. I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
I was hoping that one of you guys would have the answer, but as I'm watching it, I'm like, wait a minute. But I guess Jigsaw could.
Don't forget the 5 are in the 6 envelopes are in the box. He's dead at this point, so Hoffman's already set up as part of the game. Hoffman doesn't know he's part of the game. William doesn't know that it's not his game. I mean, just those reveals at the end. It's like, I think it's just brilliant. Just the way he even says that. This is where I like that he says it wasn't my game. I like that.
I agree with that. I do think the Amanda thing is a little bit of an oversight. There's a few things, but again, in the big picture, these are little nitpicks because overall the reveals are quite great. And keep this going. But yeah, I definitely had that question too. And when you see him rip his face off after he's out of all that, and you just see it ripped open and bleeding, and he's like screaming up in the air, and it cuts the credits. Mwah, again.
Yeah.
And I never knew this had a post-credit sequence until people in our chat, in Exploding Heads Patreon chat, started talking about it, and I went back and I watched the post-credit sequence. Because none of the other ones do, correct?
No.
So I went back and I watched it, and I couldn't. I was like, wow, that's a nice little.
That was cool.
And this end credit scene is the reason why I think Amanda's choice to kill Lynn and to ultimately end 4 lives, including Jigsaw's and her own, crossed her mind that this is how it could end, but it was still done out of love because she knows. She's telling Corbett, don't trust the one who saves you, don't trust Hoffman. So it's it's already being set up. She knows that she's not probably going to live through this. She knows she has to kill somebody that she probably would have let go otherwise, which I forgot about the first time because we talked about that in part 3, and I'm like, man, Amanda really hasn't learned. She's bad again. But I totally forgot about this part, where he forced her hand because she would have totally let him go.
Right. True.
She would have let her go. I mean,
I gotta say, I love all that stuff. The flashbacks with all 3 of them and the competition, but like the sibling rivalry type thing between fucking Amanda and Hoffman. I think it's great. And
Christian, this had your
what
scene.
Do you know?
That's a human being.
Yeah.
That, yeah.
We never did talk about that. Like I brought it up in the last one, but yeah. So you saw him tweaking with the fucking rig.
Yeah.
It's like you gotta adjust with this, and Amanda's throwing tools. I don't even know what the hell they're talking about. You gotta temper that steel.
Yeah.
you gotta temper that chocolate.
You gotta taper it. No.
You gotta taper that steel.
Yeah, you gotta taper that worm. You gotta get a tapeworm.
Oh, that's great. And what does he tell him? She goes, "You're still dragging your knuckles on the ground. What do you know about life?" She told him. Oh, it's fucking great. I love that stuff. That's just the thing. I do love Hoffman, but when you get right down to it, and when it's Amanda versus Hoffman, I choose Amanda. I'm always gonna have a soft spot for her.
I choose Hoffman, and the dragging the knuckles are those rotisserie chicken knuckles. A little late, but I figured I'd throw that in there just in case.
That's the way to do humor. Tie it back into something mentioned an hour ago. That's perfect.
Call back.
Speaking of humor, unintentional comedy. How about that guy? What's the guy the old guy in the first contest with
Hank who smoked?
Yeah, and the fucking TV comes on, and you see Billy. He goes, "Who the fuck is that?" That's funny shit. What a reaction, Oh, that's great. And how cool is it to see Billy, the carousel scene, just is fucking tops the whole way. Could you imagine being there, how fucking terrifying it would be? There's you and there's fucking 5 other people and only 2 of you.
Pitch dark.
So what a scene. Everything about that scene is fucking brilliant. But I love the way it starts. I love when Billy drops. They're like, hooray for Billy. We finally see him. And his mouth moves.
When it's the 2 people, the old lady and the guy, and he comes dangling down on a rope, right? He's there too, and he talks to him. That's funny. And then when he picks the old lady as a survivor and the other guy dies, I love how he just gets hoisted up out of and they just lift the dead guy up out of the blue. My daughter and I just started laughing. Again, that to us was unintentional humor.
You know what it felt like? It felt like the scene at the end of Beetlejuice. Step right up, step right. It felt like the secretary was gonna be hammered and go through the ceiling.
And one of the pink guys back there, like hoist him back up, like. Like, how do they know that? Like, again, those are the questions I want to know. So they pick one to die. How does the rig know that one died and then lift them and hoist them up to get them out of the shot? There's got to be someone behind the scenes.
He's holding the two things.
Yeah, so you let the guy go.
He let the guy go. Then he pulls the other one and locks it out, so she's safe.
And then, so when that one's released and after he dies, it just automatically recoils to take him up to yonder.
Yeah, to yonder. What did you watch? Did you watch Vivarium recently?
No, but anyway, I'm asking questions. I really, this one I have on par with the original. I said it earlier.
It's awesome. Why was that guy yelling, "Follow the policy" in the carousel scene? Did you notice that? Yeah. Follow the policy. He kept saying over and over again.
Those are the rules.
Because he was the healthiest one, probably. You know, he was a lean, young guy, probably the youngest one. Some of those other people were older. He was saying follow the policy. He would probably be the most insurable. That's all he's saying. Follow. Okay. That was what was brilliant. That's probably why he didn't, because he knew the policy was flawed. But I love his face throughout. Like, he's just remorseful from the onset. The minute Hank dies, the minute Hank's belly is crushed, he's just like, he knows his whole thing is flawed. But it's not
almost
his choice.
Too bad. It's almost too bad he dies. But it's so great to see him die, though. So not really. You know.
I know they had to sort of preempt it with having all the characters shown in the insurance company before, but it's such a weird shot where it's like, "Hey Hank, how are you?" And it just comes to like a close up of him, like you're like almost like, why did they stop on that shot?
Because he was making a face because
like
of
he's guilty or something, or he's
guilty of smoking and being 52 years old. That guy looked like he was 97. Stop smoking.
No, the reason they showed him in that scene, he was kind of like rolling his eyes at the dog pit. It was right after we were talking about that. And he's like, "Oh boy, these fucking assholes." You know what I mean? Like, he was like casting a little bit of judgment, which
exactly.
You know,
like, he's high and mighty, but he's not above it. No one's above Jigsaw's game. You fucking chew one piece of Nicorette gum and you're going in a fucking trap, Jigsaw. You had one piece of Nicorette gum. You do not cherish your life. Now you could either cut off your legs and your arms or die. I got nothing. I don't know. I didn't think that through, but
I love his line. Once you see death up close, then you know what the value of life is. That's fucking great. Damn it, I love Jigsaw, and I love the movie. So 9 out of 10.
See death up close, pal.
9 out of 10.
9 out of 10.
I give it 9.5 out of 10.
Whoa! Wow.
With the original.
Wow. You gave the original a 9.
No, I gave it 9.5.
Nope. B and I gave it a 9.5, and you gave it a 9. That's why it made the Hall of Fame.
Did I? Oh, yeah.
Just for that, I'm giving this a 9.25, so it stays out of the Hall. No, I was originally going to give it a 9, but you know what? I enjoyed it so much, and each of these movies gets bumped up a half a point simply for nostalgia reasons. So 9.5 out of 10. Put it in the fucking Hall of Fame. It's that good.
Woo!
Awesome. All right.
I had to do it. I couldn't be responsible. Not over a half a point.
True. And I honestly could give it a 9.5 because the questions that I have that I was on the fence about, I think were answered.
Yeah, you know what? For the I really like. I keep saying it, and we talk about it a lot in every review we've done of each Saw movie. I feel like we're able to justify and sort of kind of come up with reasonable answers for everything that happens. I find no illogical things in that. I just find the whole message and the high mightiness of despising murder. Not that it's a great message. It's just that there needed to be a way for everybody to survive all the traps. And that's a problem. I know we're going to get to it next show, but that's a problem in part 7 is that some of the people in those traps can't survive unless, I can't even remember the character's name. It's been so long since, unless he survives, which he can't because he lied. So we'll get there. But some of the issues in part 7.
Indeed. I'll say this, though. This is the best part 6 of all. There's not a better part 6 of any franchise than this. I've said it for years, actually.
This is my look. My lowest rated film. I think it's right. Part 2. It's part 2 is an 8. I've given everything between 8 and a 9.5 for the first 6 films, and I like The next two we're going to
fair.
cover. Now, it's been a while since I've seen both. So.
Well, I really like Jason Lives, but it's not a 9.5.
No.
So there you go. And Freddy's Dead could kiss my balls. You know that.
Right.
And Halloween 6, and what else are we missing? I do like Texas Chainsaw Massacre at the beginning, but it's not a 9.5.
No.
So
this is the one. And people
Hellseeker.
don't. Nope.
9.75.
Although I would like to do that. Damn it, I want to talk about those movies. You guys should watch them. Man, they're all so different.
I've seen the first 6 because I remember I had a marathon like after part 6 came out. Like I don't know how many there are now.
Yeah, well, we'll save it for another day. Let's get out of here.
Well, let's get the fuck out of Dodge. It's been a beautiful show.
Yeah.
I predict the next show will be short.
All right.
You know what happens when we do those predictions.
We're going to be arguing, so who knows?
I predict a lot of fighting in the next movie.
There's going to be arguing.
It's been years since I've seen part 7, so maybe
I'll
just
hate it. When you watch
it.
part 7, just look at the opening scene and say to yourself, how could this possibly have been set up? And I'm gonna. That's all. That's my.
The same director have done both. Again, I'm not gonna say if I was offered, hey, you're doing this movie and then you're gonna do the follow up, I'd be like, check and check. Perfect. I'm all in. And you're gonna film it in 3D. I would have been like, good, because I'm giddy that way. I would have loved to make a movie in 3D. So
I forget. This movie did not need to be made in 3D. I remember thinking that.
And it's the worst 3D ever.
Yeah,
by the way.
At home, it's much better. In the theater, it was dark and murky as shit.
Well,
We
look,
will talk about it next
the Saw
episode.
movies are dark and murky anyway, so we love you long time.